All right, all right. What's going on, party people? Oh, I've been trying to find something else, but I like these two songs the best. This one and the one I play normally. Ah, all right. Let's see here. All right. Great seeing each and every one of y'all. Ah, mm, mm. Oh yeah. Gonna try to have some fun tonight. Oh man, I'm just letting some folk come in here, then I gotta send out this to somebody. Okay. All right. Spell this stuff right. I don't know. I be ripping and running and getting in here at the last moment. Yeah. Okay. Like that. I'll send that to them shortly. Ah. Ooh. What's going on, Keisha? Hello to you, lady. I know what you're writing. Here we go. Shonda rolled on up in here. I keep trying to find some more music, but I'll never have time. That's the bad part. I'll never have time. So I got to take some time out and do that. What's going on, Brittany? What's going on, Acme Notary? All right, all right. Well, I got something special to show y'all. Let me see here how I want to do this. See if I can figure out how to do this thing. Because sometimes I be messing stuff up. So, all right. Let's see here. So we got a little special stuff going on right now. Okay, so let me see if I can make this happen. Boom, there it is. Thank you all very, very much for your support. I just found one that said followers and subscribers, depending on how people like to look at it. But that's awesome. Y'all made this happen. I'm serious. Every time you hit the like button, you share. Every time you come on the video, your comments, all of that pushes it out there to the people. And I just got to say thank you to each and every one of y'all. And to hit that milestone before the end of the year is just awesome. It means a lot to me. It really does. It really, really means a lot to me. So I greatly appreciate it. and it couldn't happen without y'all. But even more so, this here's the bigger one. I don't even know if it's bigger. I mean, well, it's a big deal to me, but I got the official word that I had over 1 million views. Oh, that right. Yeah, 115, that's 100,000. Yeah, million. Woo. I'm about to say, I hope I got my numbers right. Have the right graphic. But I want to say thanks to y'all for that. That's a big deal. That's a huge deal for me. To get that many views, and I know there's, YouTube channels, they get that stuff just like that. But to get that is just awesome. I really appreciate it. Really appreciate it. To get 1 million views, 16,000 subscribers and followers. That's just awesome. So thank y'all very, very much. Couldn't have done this in any way, shape, or form without y'all. Y'all made this happen. Ooh-wee. All right. So thank y'all very, very much. Very, very much. Looking for a playlist? What app do you use? You asking me, am I looking for a playlist, or you're looking for a playlist? And when you say what app do I use, I'm not clear on that. You said, do you have? I'm my bad. I got it now. No, I use Adobe. Well, because I pay for the full version of Adobe, and it allows me to grab music off of there. It's just a matter of me finding some music that I like, and it just takes some time for me to just go through and find it. On Adobe, you get the full version of Adobe. They have, and I can show you real quick. Oops, share. Y'all know I be doing this stuff. All right, I got you now. Playlist, yeah. So yeah, Adobe. They got a whole wide collection of music, and you can select moods, genre, all of that. But it just takes time to go through and look for stuff, and I just stumbled across some about a month or two ago, and I'm just sort of fell in love with those, and I just got to take time out and go through some of these down here. You got to pay for. I don't feel like paying for them and stuff, and so I just go through the Adobe. If I'm looking for something, it just have different vibes, and then you can download them and then just drop them in, and you get to listen to them, tell you how many minutes they are and all of that. So you can use this for some of everything. You got a 56-second one, a 2-minute one, but this one here is 7 minutes. And you just sit there and listen and figure out which one fits the mood that you want to have. So I just hadn't really had a chance to sit down and look at it again. But thank y'all very much. I appreciate the support. Y'all have been awesome. I ain't gonna lie, y'all keep me on my toes. Y'all keep me on my toes big time. And other people may not appreciate the time that y'all put into coming on and looking at the videos and asking questions and all of that, but I do. I most certainly do. Yeah, you're right, man. It is not hard. Because you're sitting here, I mean, what y'all see is what I see, which is me. That's what I see. That's how this is set up, where it's not like there's these people, pictures and stuff. You're literally looking at yourself. Or however long you're doing a live, you're looking at yourself, and that's why some people, when they do the live streams or even record, they have a lot of background noise. They got a lot of sound effects. Have a lot of other things going on. They, sometimes they don't hardly ever look at the camera. They look off to the side and things of that nature. A lot of times they have a monitor where they're monitoring what's going on, or as that live stream, So YouTube allows you to sit there and watch, your whole live stream and look at the stats on it, how many people come in and all of that. So that's what a lot of people will do. I don't really do that. I probably guess I could, but so that's what they do. And feel free to drop your questions in the chat. Let me know what y'all think, how y'all feeling, what's going on, all of that good stuff. All right. And I wanted to show y'all something. I had to go dig deep way back. Let me turn my music off. So I was just playing around and stumbled across this. And hold on. I gotta take it. I gotta redo that so y'all can hear the audio and stuff. Okay, got the audio selected. Yeah, let me know if y'all can hear this. Sorry about that, y'all. There it is. Hey, yeah, just finished my first signing of the day and got it done in 30 minutes, probably a little less. And doing that doc prep. One of my first videos I put up when I first started doing YouTube. Document preparation helped out. Like I said, I just had a feeling the gentleman was going to be like, I want to get in and get out. And that's exactly what went down. So got in there. He was cool. He was just real quiet. Didn't have any questions. Let me know if y'all can hear. Explain while I was doing his IDs. He went head on and sort of glanced through his documents pretty quick. So it was just a matter of just doing a general explanation, just saying, hey, this is what this document is, making sure he understood the right to cancel, leaving him his copies, and explaining the deed and the note. And that was pretty much it, And ironically, he asked about the little pile that was at the back where I had the done sticker. And I was like, oh, that's no problem. I showed him what the pile was. And he's like, oh, okay. And I told him, I said, there's nothing for you to sign. It's master closing instructions and other. He looked at. Y'all can see back then, my stuff was sketchy. There was no internet connection out there. So it took me 20 minutes of driving away from there to where I could get a good stable internet connection. So y'all can see way back then, 3 years ago. Okay, this video was from December 2020. 3 years ago, I was saying the same thing that I've been saying even now. Get in, get out. That was the first sign of the day. got it done in 30 minutes. The guy wasn't trying to listen or talk about this. He just wanted to sign and get done. And this has been going on the whole time. And the crazy part is that there's so many notaries out here who have been held up, stifled, because they won't just go out here and get the thing going. They're like, well, how am I going to do this and how am I do that? How am I explain? And what if they ask a question? This is when I first went full time, and I was like, I'm just gonna go do it. I mean, I had already been doing it, part time. But when it comes to full time, you don't have time to play around. It's like I gotta make this money to take care of the family. So let me get going and let it all roll in. And it says there have been, oh, here you go. You see, I got my first buyer signing today. I got one this morning and another this afternoon. They were both last minute, less than an hour from the time I got the call to the time to do the signing. Then he said there was no time to prep or check the docs. I had to print and go. I was crazy nervous because of that, but I got it done. Just like you said, when last minutes come, you just have to take them. And that's it. I'm telling y'all. Look, last night, yesterday afternoon, I think it was, I was just chilling, minding my own business. And one of my clients, they emailed me and said, hey, we need this done. Iran closing. The person's in the Virgin Islands. So I'm thinking, oh, okay, this is late Thursday. Oh, okay, we'll get it done on maybe this Saturday, maybe Friday at the earliest, but this weekend. Nah, they was like, no, we need to get it really done today, first thing Friday morning, because the closing for the buyers is at 1 on Friday. So I had to scramble, get everything together. They got me the docs, this, that, boom, bam. And about 8 o'clock last night, no, it was about 8:30 last night, met up with the young lady. She's down there in the Virgin Islands. Her husband, I guess he works down there. She said something about them living in company housing. So they live down there. We got it all done. And it took probably 15 minutes. But last minute is where this mortgage industry is. And I'm gonna be honest, I think a lot of trainers did the industry a disservice by constantly saying don't take last minute signings, knowing that the large percent of these closings are last minute. And they did a disservice from the standpoint they didn't prepare notaries for that. And now, from your training, and you can answer this if you want. From your training, do you feel that you were prepared for a last minute signing? So you took whatever training you took. And when I say last minute, let's just say 12 hours or less. Some people look at last minute 24 hours or less, but we'll say 12 hours or less. So you get an order, and within the next 12 hours, you got to get it done. And you might as well say really maybe 8 hours, because if it's same day, you get what I'm saying? And 12 hours could be that you got something at 8 o'clock at night for 8 o'clock in the morning. So 12 hours or less. Do you feel any of your training that you've taken, not talking about stuff that you heard from me prior to you get dealing with me, do you think any of it actually prepared you for last minute signings, that you can get 2 or 3 in the same day? You minding your own business and you're like, okay, I'm just chilling. I got one that was scheduled from 2 weeks ago. Hey, 2 weeks ago, and I'm prepared. I got everything. I'm sitting here with my napkins like the Equalizer. Denzel Washington with the Equalizer. You know how he lays all his napkins out and stuff and everything and all of that. On his table for his tea and stuff. And he has I ain't got no cups. I'll use it. And he has this stuff and got everything precisely. Yeah. But then you get the opportunity, And let's just say each signing that you get is paying you a fee that you would like, and they're doable. They're closings that you've done before. And matter of fact, they're closings with companies you've already done stuff for before. So you're familiar with the documents to a degree, and all they want you to do is like, go. Here you go, go. Because here's the thing you got to realize: the more of these closings that you do, the more confidence those companies gonna have in you. And guess what? They're going to be more willing to give you last minute closings because they know what to do. But if you're constantly saying to yourself, I don't know what to do, I can't do a last minute, when they give you the opportunity and they're willing to pay you a little bit more, you could tear it up and blow it all out the water. And they'd be like, what in the world is wrong with you? Well, I need at least 48 hours to 7,800 hours before I can do this. Yeah, I really, I have napkins that I got to lay out. I have to lay my napkins out and put my stickers. I got to take my napkins and I got to stick all my little stickers on my napkins, like the equalizer before I do any, my doc prep and everything. And then I got to make sure, I have, my stamp, and I have to, put my stamp on my napkins and stuff. They're going to be like, what in the world is wrong? Okay, what happened to you? And that's why I try to do everything I can to encourage y'all. Stick with just making sure you know how to do your job as a notary. And when the orders come in, they'll be able to boom and go and boom. You know what I'm saying? So let's see what we got here. So yeah, my training came from watching my videos. I appreciate that. What's going on, Caprentice? What's going on, man? And said not at all. Nope, none. You say you took LSS and Sign and Thrive, both prepared me for nothing. And and he's new. I've been working with Danny. They don't teach that. Nope. He said, and I've been a notary for a year now and wouldn't have made it without grip. Yeah, me and Danny have talked a lot, and I've done several document reviews with him, and he is doing good. And then he was prepared, but Prentice is always, I mean, look at Prentice is just prepared. He was born prepared. I mean, he went to daggone pre-K already prepared. Like, okay, teacher, I have my lesson plans already that you're going to teach us. That's what Prentice was already. He gave the lesson plans to the teachers. That here's the lesson plan. This is what you're going to teach us today. This is when break is, and I've already got my my food already put in the refrigerator, so we good. And I already got me a Uber. I know Uber ain't invented yet, but I already got an Uber coming to pick me up later this afternoon and everything. So Caprentice, my man, he's always prepared. But that's the thing, that's the thing that I learned in this business. So I guess you could say, looking back on this year, what really helped me out was that I just took it serious. And I don't know how many I've done this year. I haven't even finished adding all that stuff up. But going into 2024 and looking at what I did this year as my first full year of doing this full time and not having anything to take my attention away from doing it full time, meaning, my pop passed last November of 2022. So when this year came, I was like, okay, I don't have to take care of Pop. I just got to go out here and work. And I didn't know how to. I really didn't know how to do that, because the whole time that I've been a notary from 2020 till his passing, he had been with me. So I was always limiting how much I could do so I could make sure he was cared for. So now I don't have that responsibility. My sons are doing their thing. My wife doing her thing. It's like, am I just going to sit here and fuss and do videos about what I don't like about the business? Or am I just going to get out here and work the business and see what it's like to do 65, 70 signings a month. What it's like to really take 3 or 4 last minute signings. That's what I did. And this year has been really, really good, in my opinion. Um, and I'm happy with this. So going forward next year, I know how to pace myself a little bit better because I ain't gonna lie, I sort of wore myself out a couple of times throughout the year. But now I'm like, okay, I have a better idea how to pace myself, um, what I need to do to stay on top of things. And I'm like, this is this is good. I'm like, okay, I'm good with this business. And I've made myself even more known to people. So just for clarification, like if people was asking me about the Ron stuff, I've never marketed myself to anybody about doing Ron. Never. I've never went to any title companies or anything like, hey, I'm a Ron notary, come get me, come pick me. Never done any of that. Never had the time to. What happened was somebody needed a Ron notary and someone knew about me, whether another notary or a signing company owner. And then they said, well, give Griff a call because I think he does it. Because I talk about it from time to time. So, or they might have seen it in my profile. Profile works. And they're like, I'm gonna give him a call. And I would get a phone call like, hey, I heard you do Ron. Can you help us out? Yeah, let's talk about it. Tell me what you need me to do, this, that, and the other. And there was a lot of growing pains. There was a lot of mistakes, but I made sure everything got done. And not one single Ron that I've ever done I've never been told that it didn't get recorded. It wasn't usable. That they had to go get somebody else. Now, if they did, they didn't tell me. But I've never been told that. So I'm like, okay, so 80 some I think that I've done over the last 5 years, doing pretty good. And I've done 5 this month. Okay. So I'm like, wow, I'm very, very, very happy with this. Now, I use Verify, and I'm explaining to y'all why I do that. And I hear you, Keisha, and we will talk. I'm available this weekend. Here is email and hit me up. Make sure you include your phone number and I will call you and just let me know whether you want to talk on Saturday or Sunday. Um, or if you want to wait till Monday and New Year's Day and you chill, and all of that, that's fine with me. But the reason why I use Verify because that's what I was introduced to first. Didn't know anything about these other platforms. I like Verify because I don't have to pay for every time I use my stamp. So every time that digital stamp that I use, they don't take money from me. Like, okay, well, if you stamp 3 times, you got to pay us $15 for the first one and then $10 for the second and third. They don't do that. Verify says, here's the fee that you pay us. You can stamp as much as you want, and you have as much time as you want to be on the platform. So so that time limit isn't there. Now, is their system fluid like some of the others, because they use the online, like the Adobe Acrobat, and you sort of doing it through on your computer, the digital certificates on your computer, and you're using Adobe Acrobat, and you can just sort of drop, new files in there sort of on the fly and all of that. No, theirs not as slick as that. Theirs is probably to say it seems a little archaic, but it makes you be better prepared for doing stuff because you can't be playing around and making mistakes and forgetting stuff. So I don't have that time limit restriction. I can just get up there and do it. And if it takes me 2 hours to get it done, it takes 2 hours to get it done. And there have been a couple that's like that. Now I'm more streamlined and it doesn't happen that way. I go through a whole process. And I do have training that I help people on with Ron who want to do it on Verify. The other reason why I stick with Verify versus the other ones is because I can't afford them. With the fees that they take out, I have not yet been able to figure out how I can price and get the money that I get. Let's just say I'm paying $50 a month for Verify, and because I'm grandfathered in, so my fee is $50 a month, and I think it's going up soon. But let's just say it's $50. I'm paying $50 a month. That's about $600 a year. I can do probably. So let's just say I do if I do 5 Ron closings at 175 a pop, that is $875. I just made all my money back. You see what I'm saying? So just imagine if I only have to do hundreds and thousands of them. All I got to do is about maybe 40 or 50 a year, and I made my money back. So let's just say I'm able to do that. Let's just say 40. Well, that's $7,000. Okay, and then 40 divided by 12. So you're talking about 3 a month at 175 if that's what I charge, or so you may charge higher. So this is what I'm saying. So that's why I stuck with Verify, because I like their pricing structure better. Plus, I wasn't in the mood for trying to be like a call center, and I wasn't looking for other people to get me business. And doing a bunch of general notary work for a few pennies here and there. I honestly, that's not what I wanted to do. I didn't want any resemblance of a W-2 in my life. So doing Notarize and some of these other ones gave me that sense. And there was a couple of companies that hit me up and it was asking, I was like, okay. But when they started talking about all this interview and this, and I was like, I ain't got time. There's no interview. I ain't got an interview to prove myself to anybody to be on Verify. I pay my fee and then I'm off and running. Then I just get out there and get my clients. I said, cool, because I'm like, I got experience. I know what I'm doing. But it was primarily because these people, they had that call center aspect to it. And I was like, I don't want to do the call center. I just want to do the real estate closings. And you had to go through that process. And I was like, that's too much like a job for me. So let me see. My man Ray Burns, he said there was at least 3 or 4 hours last month. Printing copy saved me several. A page was misprinted quickly. Little as last shared true. And he said, and you have been my go-to person for the last 2 years and have several asked about this business. You've had several asked about this business, and you always referred to single out. Yeah, thank you. I appreciate that. And think you're ready to learn, Ron. It's not as hard as you think. It really isn't. You just got to be very, very organized. Missed your call today. Yeah, I gave you a call. And I got your the profile. I'm gonna look that over later this evening. It says 65 to 70 a month, 65 to or 75 a month, a minimum $100. Yeah. Plus general notary at the side. You can easily maintain. And see, the big thing that they always forget, Brittany, is the tax deduction. So every time you stamp, you get to deduct a certain dollar amount based off of your state from the self-employment tax. So matter of fact, let's just go on and look at this real quick. So if you have an order that's $100 and you have, and let's just say like in Virginia, we have we can the max that we can charge for face-to-face is $5. So $5 every time we stamp. If there's 10 notarizations, well, that's $50. So you minus $50 from that for self-employment purposes, meaning $50 of the 100 doesn't get taxed for self-employment purposes. You report the whole 100, but only 50 gets taxed. Well, if you got $20 in travel expenses, meaning you drive there and back, Well, now you're down to $30. So you made 100, you got paid 100, but what you pay taxes on is the 30 out of that because of your deductions. Well, just imagine if you did take a $70 order and you had that same 10 stamps, and then you had that same $20 travel tax purpose, you're not paying any taxes on that dollar, on them dollars that you just made. And that's the part that people keep forgetting. So with all of this fussing about, I don't want to get paid this, I don't like this, that, and the other. Okay, you want to be at $200. So let's do it this way. So that same $200, you got the same $50 coming off for um the stamps, and then you got $20 coming off for your travel, because those that didn't change. Well, you're going to be paying taxes on $130. So whatever your tax rate is, it's going to hit that 130. So just imagine if you did more work to where what you if you did more work, and let me make sure I'm saying this right. If you did more work where the fee may be less, but after your tax deductions, what you have to pay taxes on is way less than 130, you might be making out better. That's why you got to talk to a real tax accountant. Okay, not these notaries who think they know tax, but a real tax accountant, and they'll tell you it's about how much you get to keep, not how much you make all the time. It's like, okay, well, you made this, but how much do you get to keep when it comes to the tax part? So that's what's key. And that's where a lot of notaries are making their mistake. They're not even thinking about that, in their fussing about how much they're getting paid. So they want $200-300 a pop. Okay, fine. Well, on that $130, what other deductions do you have? Because if you're saying, well, I'm working for title, okay, well, I don't print, I ain't traveling that much. So your tax basis or burden is going to be probably higher. And if I'm wrong, please correct me. Okay. Um, but yeah, that is a good one. And yeah, you can make some good money. And then the question is, how consistent are you willing to be? Are you willing to go out there and do it? Are you willing to take the last minute signings? If you are, great. If you're not, then you can just sort of hang it up. you know, you can just sort of hang it up and everything. Let me do this real quick. All right. Oh, there it is. All right. And so, any other questions? Come on, talk to me, somebody. Saying, yeah, Gene, I signed up with Notarized, but yep, I did. Went through the whole thing with Notarized, never used it. Last for the Friday on the 23rd. Thanks for the great year. Down to Earth Straight Talk. Enjoy the wrap up. Unseal. Notary Unseal. Yeah, we did our last broadcast, so we done. Here's the lower interest rates 2024. Yeah, but here's the thing about the lower interest rates. Keep this in mind. People got to qualify. If they don't qualify, then guess what? They're not going to get them. And that's mm-mm. Hold on. Okay, here we go. I'm trying to do something here. That's the thing that I learned this year is that they got to qualify. So you can drop the interest rates all you want, but they got to qualify. And if you sit there and listen to people, they'll tell you the moment them interest rates start dropping, the house price is going to go up, which means it's going to still push people out. It's going to take people out of being able to afford. So if the interest rate, if the housing prices are dropped, which they are in certain areas, and the interest rate can come down and they don't rate, people will be able to afford it, which means there's more business for us. So there are people with higher interest rates. They're willing to pay the higher interest rate to get and have a lower house cost. Because if the house cost is lower, and then down the road, 2 years down the road, the interest rates drop, then that helps them out. But if your house is overpriced by 200,000, and you have, and let's say you bought the interest, got the house at 7%, well, you paid $200,000 more. You can't change the price. The interest rates drops, but guess what? If the value of the house in your area has dropped, you can't refinance. That's what people don't realize. You can't refinance if the value of your house is less than what you owe on it. So you bought it overpriced, 600,000. The house value drops down to 450. You still owe 525. You can't refinance unless you're bringing money to the table. And that's what notaries need to understand before they get out here pop locking and hoorahing about that. And the same thing for new um, real estate agents. Before you get too happy about this, you need to make sure you understand the dynamics about how to get somebody qualified. These are brothers 6,200 and 6,400. And yes, it does legal in letter. There's a printer playlist that I have in my when you click on my channel name, go to playlist and you'll see there's a printer playlist, and I talk about how to set all of that up in there. You have to go on your thing, and then I use those don't scan for scan backs. I have a separate printer for that. And some of the videos I recently did last week, I go over that, so I use brother products. I'm not saying brother's the best, that's just what I use. You use whatever you can afford that meets your criteria to get the job done and get it done right. The only thing we need to do is make sure that it is what? Laser. You got to do laser, and it don't need to be color, black and white and stuff. What type of marketing do I do? Yeah. You do what it depends on your area. The marketing that I do, hold on one second. I just gotta blow my nose. Let me mute my mic. Gotta show people, yes, I got hand sanitizer. Because somebody be up there, Griff don't have no hand sanitizer. so marketing, there's all kinds of ways to market a business. And you have to think about your flow. I tend to run across people a lot. I really do. I tend to run across people a lot, and I get questioned out of the blue. Hey, and it's like, yeah, what can you do? So my mind is constantly like, I got to be ready to tell that person, yay or nay, I can help them. So I need to be able to do that. I see you, Caprentice. So I need to be able to tell them, yay or nay, I can help them. I got to be able to clearly sit there and listen. Okay, yeah, this, boom. Case in point, I get a phone call yesterday from a couple, older couple, and they needed help. So I'm listening to them, and they just called and said, "Yeah, can you do this notary?" Da, 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 da. And I'm like, "Whoa, whoa, 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 slow it down. Let's talk it through. What you need, this, that, and the other. Gotcha. What's your name? Okay, got. All right, cool. I'll be there. Get over there. Made a 50 spot, and it was just 2 documents that needed to be notarized. I was like, okay, cool. And then when I got there, we had made sure I discussed it. Okay, let me make sure I understand this. Boom, boom, boom. Perfect. Because it sounded like it was something real estate, like a real estate transaction, but it wasn't. It was something dealing with a property that they were selling, and they just needed to sign some paperwork for their HOA. And I was like, okay, got it. Do you both of y'all need? Nope, just her need. I'm like, okay, cool, no problem. But you got to be quick on your feet. So my marketing is being able to be there for people when they need me. I'm not good at thinking, really like, okay, let me go to some lawyer's office, let me go to some dentist's office, let me go here and there. That's really not me. Honestly, that's just not me. What is me is like, okay, let's see, what do we need to do here? What do you need help with? Okay, got it. All right, boom. And just being ready to do business, because a lot of this stuff around here is very, very, very last minute. And since it is so last minute, I'm like, I got to be ready to rock and roll at any point in time. And that's the part that a lot of people um haven't figured out yet. They're like, they're trying to get everything so staged so they can have so much time ready to go. And I guess for my life, I tend to always get called to do stuff last minute. So I'm just sort of in that mindset. The more time I have, better. But it's really like, let me just make sure that I'm ready to go when somebody calls. Last thing about this, I get a phone call on Christmas Day night. I'm chilling. Me and the wife looking at the game. I don't even remember which game we were looking at. I was really half asleep. And next thing I know, 9 o'clock, get a call. Yes. I'm thinking it was my client that I'm supposed to meet at 8 in the morning the next day. No, this lady said, I need a notary tonight. My husband's going out to sea and we need this power of attorney done. I said, do you need witnesses for it? She said, no. I said, all right, cool. She said, because I've been calling other notaries and they won't call me back. And the ones who I did talk to, they, they never got back with me. So there was ones that she contacted and never returned the phone call, or she just left a message. And then there was one she actually spoke to and they never followed back up with her. I said, no problem. I got you covered. I got up, got dressed, went out there, didn't even have to drop my bag off my shoulder. ID, he signed, you signed. I do my thing, stamp. What I mean, how much I made? I think that was 30. I think it was like $30, 30 or $40 or something like that. 40, something like that. And I was back home the whole time. I mean, I got there about 9:45. I was home by 10 because it wasn't that far. It was interstate, so I was able to. You see what I'm saying? So I found that being available, so you can market, plaster your picture all over the place. But if you're not ready when somebody calls you, that will kill all of the marketing that you've done out there. So let me see. Let me bring my man Caprentice on to the stage. It's the
Happy end of the year, sir.
doing good, man. Doing good, doing good. So let me see what others. So she said, do I feel it necessary to have a portable scanner? Yeah. Most definitely. I use the Raven. I gotta do some stuff because the Raven's supposed to stop that cloud thing. So I've already switched over to using Dropbox. Hopefully the email part will still work from the Raven. But if it doesn't, that's not a problem, because if you put it into Dropbox, you can email that document to people or give them access to it from Dropbox. So I may have to set something up like that, where because I've already set it up. I call it, got a Raven scan folder and all of my documents go there. So I've been saving documents there instead of putting them on the Raven cloud. And the documents are in Dropbox in a folder that I set up. And I know that from Dropbox, you can give people access to the file. So they'll get an email saying, hey, you got access, or someone's, Griff gave you access to this file. So they just go in there and they can do what they want. And for my direct client, that should work, because all they need to do is just get the files, download them so they can submit them for funding. And they're the only ones who I need to do that with. So hopefully that'll work. But you do need to have a portable scanner, something that can connect to Wi-Fi, use your mobile Wi-Fi. Now, here's the thing. I've been hearing a lot of notaries doing this, brand new notaries going out there and trying to scan from the table. And you're nervous. You're trying to connect to your client, to the signer's Wi-Fi, and then you can't connect, and then they don't know the password and this and that. I don't suggest doing that when you first start. Just go ahead on and drive your little behind back home. Yeah, it might be a little bit of a drive. And more than likely, y'all not doing 3 and 4 in a day. You're doing what? Just a couple, maybe 1 or 2. So go ahead on, do the signing, leave, get back, boom, 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 and do the scans at home. Or at least go to a Starbucks with your portable scanner, connect to their Wi-Fi or to your cell phone Wi-Fi and do it there. But I tend not to do that in front of the client, because if they have stuff they need to go do and then you run into connectivity issues, you mess around and mess up, get your scans all jammed up, and it's just embarrassing, and you get nervous and you're already timid. So I don't suggest doing that starting off, and I really don't like doing it at all. I've only done it maybe 4 or 5 times. What's your thoughts, man?
I agree totally, 100%, Griff. I've never scanned at like a client's home. I think I tried one time, and I gave me the password. It just didn't work. So I lugged my Raven inside to scan at the table, and it just was a non-factor. So usually I'll do just like you mentioned, like the Starbucks, just sit in the corner. I've done it, like my girlfriend's done the same thing where she's brought the scanner like inside, and we'll just do it at Starbucks. We're like, hey, can we scan here? They're like, yeah, sure. And because other people are using other tools as well, like their laptops, so they don't really care too much. But usually I'll just stay in my car and I connect to my car, and then just use the hotspot on my phone, because it's not going to like take too much. This nowadays our cell phones are better than what they were before, so you essentially could just use your phone for just about anything that you need to do. And it allows me the connectivity that I need. I scan. Worst case scenario, like I've done as well, is like going to like FedEx, where they have the computer setups. I'm not sure how they're like that where you are, but they'll have the computers, and they usually have like a desk that has like an opening and there's nothing there. So I'll go plug in there and then just use the Wi-Fi at like FedEx as well. But just like you said, I think majority of the time though, to be honest, I scan at home. The only times that I really don't, I'll scan on the road is to say I'm doing a signing, like, I don't know, like in like 45 minutes away, and they're like, hey, we really need these scans quickly. Then I'll go to my car and scan, but then I'll go ahead and I'll have the scanner in my car, so I'm already prepared. But I think 100%, I would say that having a portable scanner is a necessity in this particular role. Not so much the printer. I mean, I guess if you could swing it, you have it, but I think the scanner is definitely something that more people are looking for. The signing services primarily look for that, for you to have that.
Yeah. What's going on, Eric? Me and Eric was chopping it up earlier. He's out there in California with you, Caprinas.
Hey, how's it going, Eric?
Good. What part of California are you from?
I'm in Northern California, in the Bay Area. So
I'm about 2 hours north of LA. So yeah, I'm at the lower part.
So you're more like Central California, Central Valley, Central California.
Just below that. I'm in a place called Lancaster. Are you familiar with
that? I know Lancaster. It's like on the way, like right when you get into, before you get to LA, you're like going over the 5 and making like I think it's going like, I can't remember if it's east or west, but I know exactly where you're talking about.
Yeah, that's the area that I'm at. Now, to piggyback on what you said earlier about having the mobile scanners, no, I don't think it's absolutely necessary. What you said about the phones, I mean, they've come a long way, so those things are awesome. I use those, but there were some times where I have signings out of my area, and like you said, they need to scan like as soon as possible. Like I've traveled out to maybe like an hour and a half out to do some signings, and I was in the process of building my portable office. So in my car, I have a scanner, printer, and then I have a power supply to power it, and then use the hotspot on my phone. I mean, the first time I tried it, I was a little nervous because I was like, I don't know if this works. So I was able to do that, and then when went smoothly, and I've been doing it ever since. Whatever I need to. I don't always do it. Yeah.
Yeah, and see, I have it with me, but sometimes the time it takes to go get set up, this, that, and the other, you get Starbucks is sometimes the worst because you got these folk in there that like they live in Starbucks and they don't, and and they take all the good table spots and everything, and I'm like, man. And then when I come in there with my scanner and stuff, they're looking at me like, what are you doing? You're not a regular Starbucker. And I'm like, hey, I'm like, look, leave me alone. I come in, boom, 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 do my thing. And they're sitting here like, hey, what is this fella doing here? And I'm like, oh, so I will use it if I have to. I'll also, Panera Bread is actually better.
Mhm.
Panera Bread is quieter. And some days I don't feel like smelling all that coffee. So, I like that. And then some of the Starbucks got the daggone bathroom all locked up, with the code and everything. So you have that issue. I mean, look, I'm just being real. You sitting here ripping and running, doing 5, 6 signings, you eating, drinking, and you're like, oh, nature calling. It's like, and then you go to the Starbucks and they're like, well, you got to buy something. I'm like, I don't want to buy nothing from y'all. I just need to use the restroom. If you ain't buying nothing, we can. I ain't got time for this. So sometimes, a lot of times, I go to Panera. With my portable battery thing, you can go to Chick-fil-A. Chick-fil-A folk, they don't bother you and stuff. Now, another place I'll go to a library. I'll go to a library and I'll plug up there. I won't hop on their Wi-Fi. Because I tried doing their Wi-Fi. Their Wi-Fi is funky there. And I think because they're trying to make sure nobody ain't doing nothing creepy. So I don't use their Wi-Fi, but I will, and I have done this. Like if I have a couple of sets of docs that I got to scan, I will go to a library and I have to, I think I got a library card, but if I don't, I get a library card real quick and then I reserve one of the conference rooms, but they don't charge you anything. And if they do, it's not that much. Go into that little conference room and use that. Say, yeah, I just need it for about a half hour. Go in there, do my scans. Another place you can go, depending on where you're at, a hotel lobby. If you just walk into the hotel lobby, just sit there, it don't bother you. As long as you ain't doing nothing crazy, you go in there, plug up, do your scans, and the bathrooms are cleaner. You guaranteed to know that. I'm just being real. They bathrooms are much, much cleaner. And then go to the FedEx. UPS is weird because sometimes they don't like you setting up stuff in the UPS. Because they're independently owned and they'll give you a hard time. But yeah, I've used the FedEx and all that stuff and just find different places to go. And every time I try to do a scan out the back of my car, it seemed like the wind picks up. That happens. So what I'll start doing, and I think y'all seen me do it, I'll go to a parking garage. So, and if you find a parking garage that gives you about 30 minutes or an hour free, those are the best ones. Run up in there. I roll up to the top floor where ain't too many cars. Do what I got to do. Pop out, set everything up in the back. And I'm done. Every now and then you might see a car pass and they looking at you all funny. I guess they think you're doing some kind of deal, that illicit activity deal. But those are things that I found to do. And that helps me out. But I try not to do it. I'll just go back home. But my bathroom is clean and I'm good to go. So Eric, tell us about your notary career, man.
Well, I've been doing this since I believe 2021 when I first started, and when I first got in, man, it was popping. Oh, let me tell you about my first signing.
Talk up a little bit so I can hear you a little bit.
All right, my first signing, my very first signing, the first signing I accepted. I was all excited. It was a refi. It was like 207 pages, and I was ready to go. I got everything going. hopped in my car and took off. And then I realized I left my stamp, my notary book. Yeah, stamp and a notary book. I couldn't find it when I ran back home, tried to find it, couldn't get it. I called the signing company, and they was kind of mad at me because I couldn't go. It was far, and they wanted it right then, and it was about an hour away, and I just couldn't do it. So, and I was nervous to begin with, and that one I was like, I'm just gonna do it, just do it. Whatever happens, happen. And then that happened. So then after that, it was easy after that. 'Cause I never had that type of situation before, so it was just smooth. I mean, I still had questions and stuff in the beginning, but I was never afraid to pick up the phone and say, hey, I'm not certain about this. Can you explain it to me? And I think that's really key to everything. Just don't be afraid to ask questions. And then from then on, I've tried one of the gurus of the notary business and spent some money for the training. Was it valuable? Yeah. Did I get something out of it? Yeah. Was it worth the amount of money I spent? No. But I did get some stuff out of it. So in that regard, I'm kind of sort of happy I took it, but it's not necessary. I will say that. And I've, I'm not afraid to say yes or no at this point. I've been doing maybe, I think, and I've been doing it part time. I may have done maybe about 300 or so, something like that. And I've been really doing pretty good, man. Doing pretty good. I'm willing to help
Now,
people out, so it's
well, let
cool.
me ask you this. So you said you took training, and this is a question that I don't think I really asked anybody. I might have alluded to it. You said you got something out of it. The question is, what you got out of it. Do you think if you put some time and effort, you could have figured it out on your own? So you got something from there. Do you think that you could have, if you really would have focused and say, okay, well, let me sit back and get out of my emotions, get out of my, like, I need somebody to teach me, but let me go learn. Do you think you probably could have had a chance to, like, okay, well, I could have learned some of this on my own?
Oh, without a doubt, a lot of stuff is just common sense, and as long as you do the reading and study up on the stuff, a lot of it will come to you. You don't necessarily need just spend all this money and go out there and get some information that's already free for you.
Right. And that's the thing. And then the other question that we have to ask ourselves, and these are questions that I ask myself. Okay, you know what? If I would have just got out of my own way, I could have figured that out. But then the other side of it is that what I didn't know and might not have figured out, and now I know, is it even applicable and usable for me? And when will it be? Because okay, I didn't know that. Okay, that's interesting. Yeah, that's cool. But how does it fit in now? So what I'm leading toward is I think every business owner has to look at, and this is what I've learned, you got to somehow or another figure out what it is that you need to do your job right now. And even in your W-2, that's how it is. Because it's like, well, I'm going to take all this training. Your job has all these little online courses and stuff. And your manager is like, okay, well, your career progression plan, why are you taking these courses over here? Because that's not helping you in your job that we hired you for. Here you are a graphic artist, but you're taking stuff on, security and background checks that the security manager, they got courses that's available to you to do it, but your manager, like when they do their, mid-year career plan on you to see how you coming along for the annual review. Well, how many courses have you taken or training have you done for your current job and for the next level? You're a graphic artist, 2, and you want to be a graphic artist 3, which pays more money. Oh, well, nah, I've been taking these courses on security management and understanding, web security. It ain't got nothing to do with this. So what I learned is if somebody's offering training, I need to try to figure out as much as I can before paying for it. What is it that you're really going to teach me? And then the more I understand and know about the current business that I have, if I really understand what a notary is all about and what the notary is supposed to do, I can sort of now understand whether or not what you're teaching me is going to help me in that. But if I don't really understand what a notary is, and I'm just here because somebody said I can make money, and I don't really truly understand on my own what I'm supposed to do as a notary according to my state, even though I swore an oath to it, you can tell me I'm gonna teach you something and none of it's applicable, and I could actually spin my wheels trying to implement something that doesn't support what I'm supposed to do based off of what my state says a notary is supposed to do for them.
Okay. As far as your question goes, the things that I said, oh, I didn't, oh, that's something good. I didn't think about that. It's all stuff that I wasn't ready for. Like if you coming in to be a notary is one thing, but if you coming in to be a signing service, that's something different. And what they were big about was teaching how to be a signing service. I wasn't at that level yet, but they made it. They sold me on the fact that I'm going to be learning all this information, but the focus was something that I wasn't willing to just dive in yet because I wasn't comfortable with the business yet. You know what I mean? So um, when I thought about it on my own, eventually, yeah, I think so. I think so. But I wasn't really trying to be a signing service, just a notary signing agent. That was it.
Right. And see, and me and proprietors have conversations about this in the past. I'm okay with somebody saying, hey, I can teach you to be a signing service. The problem is a lot of people say you need to be direct.
Mm-hmm.
So if I'm teaching you to be a direct notary, to work direct, but I'm teaching apprentice, I'll get my thumb right. I'm teaching apprentice how to be a signing service. Why would you want to work for him when he is interfering with you getting to where I told you need to be? I'm your trainer, I'm your mentor. And I said, Eric, if you want to make money in this business, you need to be direct. Apprentice, if you want to make money in this business, you need to be a signing service. Signing service is not direct.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm telling you to avoid him. I'm telling you to avoid him, but he needs you. So Caprentice needs you for his signing service, but I'm telling you, don't work with signing services
Right.
as
I
a
follow that.
primary. You see what I'm saying? So it's counterproductive, in my opinion, to have a group of people that you're educating to be direct and saying that's where the money is, and teaching them, because I know some of the trainers out there will teach you how to find ways to work with a signing service and then backdoor them to get to be direct. So and now think about it. So now just imagine I just taught you the quote unquote tips and tricks of the trade to backdoor him on how to become direct. Now the question is, why would I hire you? Especially if you took the same training that I took. So me and you and him both took the same training. He knows you've been trained on how to sneak around behind his back. Why would I select you? Why would he select you as a notary if he knows you know the tricks and how to undercut him? You get what I'm saying? I mean, this is what I'm seeing in the business. But to me, the smart move, more riskier move, is for Caprentice to be a title company, and you, knowing that you wanted to been trained to work direct, well, you'll work directly with a title company, which is Caprentice. And there's no backdooring Caprentice because you're already where you want to be at, which is direct. So that's the problem that happens. And then if everybody who comes in and they're first being told become a signing service, well, who's doing the work? Because when you think about it, and maybe this is my first time laying this out like this publicly. If you look at it if you understand multi-level marketing, they say one person gets another person who gets 2 people, who gets 4 people, so forth and so on. They say you replicate that about maybe 15, 20 times, you've basically gotten everybody in you've actually marketed to the whole population of the United States. So if I get y'all 2, and then y'all get 2, and then and your 2 get 2, and then those 4, next thing you know, everybody's been reached. So if you're marketing your training, if you say, well, take this training, and everybody has taken the same training, why would any signing service that comes out of that training want to use the notaries who know how to backdoor them? So I don't know if I'm saying it right, but basically you're sort of zeroing out, in my opinion, yourself. Because let's just say if I was teaching like that, I got 10,000 students, 5,000 are signing companies, 5,000 are notaries trying to be direct. Where are my signing company notaries going to get their clientele from? They're going to have to get it from people who never took my training. Because you're not going to trust, Printer's not going to trust anybody who took my training that teaches them how to backdoor him. He would rather get somebody who has never been taught that and work with them. And why would he tell them to go take my training, which eventually I'm going to learn how to circumvent him and potentially take his clients? And now he done spent all that money to be a signing company, and he can't make any money because he can't find notaries. And then if all the notaries saying, I need to get paid $200 a pop, and he can't get contracts to. So this is what I'm seeing, and this is what I've learned over the last 5 years, is what notaries have complained to me about that they're dealing with. And it's like, I just want to do my job as a notary first, and I'll deal with that signing company thing later on. And if you got 23,000 title companies, we don't even know how many signing companies are out there. And after a while, if you got a 1-to-1 match, it's like, that means there's not going to be nowhere near enough business from title companies to signing companies, and you're just going to be oversaturated, which Caprinters know. I said that last year coming into this year, and that is what has happened. So now you have an oversaturation, which means what? If you and him are both title companies, y'all are going to have to do what? Undercut each other. And it's not that the notary is trying to undercut, but y'all have to undercut each other in order to survive, which means what? The notaries get a lower pay because you decided you're going to take less money. What you got, Caprice?
I think a lot of what you're saying is very true. I think that the biggest thing here that I see, like in the notary world, is people don't want to be, and they don't want to be notaries. It's just they see the shiny object. They're like, "Ooh, I want to do this," and they're not realistic. And the thing is, I don't think, like I've said before, I don't think people are realistic in their day-to-day stuff. Forget thinking about like this particular industry. I just think in general they're not they're not realistic. It's almost akin to a little child playing, hey, I want to start playing basketball. They're like a toddler. And then like they're saying, well, tomorrow I'm going to be an NBA player. No, that's not how it goes. Now, there could be a progression where you're working through it. You're playing regular, youth, then you go like CYO, high school, college, and so on and so forth, but you may not make it even there. So if you're catering to the fact of like people you can't have both. You can't say, regardless of who it may be, you can't say, well, I'm going to have this, I'm going to teach this, and then I'm also going to teach this when they're contradictory. Telling people, just like you said, hey, you're going to go to direct. You have this side of people, you're telling them, we're going to go direct. And this, you're saying, no, you need to be a signing service. Those are not going to work together because there won't be enough signings for everybody. If you have everybody just becoming like a signing service, you won't, like you said, people won't be able to do the work because everyone's like, oh, I want to be a signing service. And then the other ones is going to be everybody becoming. You're waiting on the other individuals, like who else I'm going to pull in here, because I can't go to the people who I've been training unless I believe that the people I've trained haven't heard that particular part of the training. It's not, they've only heard like a small portion of it. So it's a difficult thing. And as you said, and you continue to say, is that we're going to have more people out there, and there's going to be more people coming in as soon as like rates drop. It's going to be people thinking, oh, this is a great thing to do, but they're not about it. Obviously, Eric talked about himself. He's like, yeah, I don't need to know that kind of stuff. I want to be great at doing this. And obviously in our state, it's very different than a lot of the states with regards to general notary work. You can literally go out most likely and make a decent amount of money doing general notary work. You don't have to be you don't have to go and do loan signing at all. You don't have to be there for that. If you go out when you're getting $15 a signature, you can go out and go make money that particular way. But you still see it. I'm not sure if Eric sees it down there, but I see it up here in various like Facebook groups where people can't do the basic thing. They're asking questions about notarizations. We're all notaries. That's the first thing we're commissioned, is to ensure that we understand the difference between like doing acknowledgement and a jurat and things that we can do copy certifications on. But yet you hear horror stories. I know I have gone to people's homes and just hearing, yeah, I've never done this before. I've had 10 properties and no one's ever swore, like giving me an affirmation or having me swear. I'm like, I'm not the only one out there who knows the law. And obviously people are either don't understand the law themselves, don't understand the rules, or they're just choosing not to abide by them. And when you hear about they're trying to get in and get out, yeah, they're just trying to like make a whole lot of money, and they're not treating it as a public service. That's ultimately what we are. We're public servants first, before anything, before the money. We're supposed to like we're considered higher on the list, the hierarchy, just because of how we are, but people don't treat it that way. They treat it like it's just a business that's go make money like anything else. And it makes us, the people who care about the industry, like yourself, obviously Eric, and then of course the party people who are in here, we care about these kinds of things because we wouldn't want to like someone to get over on us, and so it's just unfortunate that we see these types of things, like in my personal opinion.
Yeah. And I wanted to answer her question about public Wi-Fi. Well, your mobile Wi-Fi isn't secure. The public Wi-Fi isn't secure. And a lot of times our home Wi-Fi isn't all that secure. So unless the company who you communicate with tells you not to, personally, I don't see why because they're asking for these scans to be coming back so fast anyway. So it's like common sense would mean if I'm 45 minutes from home and I let you know at, I get there at 9:45, I'm done, which means I leave there at 9. Let's say by the time I pack up, it's 9:50. So you're talking about almost 10:35 or so by the time I get home, but you're pinging me at 10:56 talking about where the scans are. Okay, I'm gonna just have to pull over and go hook up to the most unsecured thing, and there you go. Because when you're pinging me and you're harassing me, because some of them do harass you, that they want them scans. Okay, so then you understand that the situation is what I'm going to be connecting to is not secure. You're okay with that. You see what I'm saying? Because you will still have to connect, even if you didn't email it to them, you're still connecting to SnapDocs or signing order to upload them. So whether on your phone or what have you. So if you want to have that conversation with them, you can, but just know that those people probably don't really care. They just want the things done. And that's one of the downside with some of the signing companies is that they're just some human being that happen to have a signing company, and they might not even understand all the legalities, all the security concerns. They just want it done so they can get paid, and that's all they care about. And that's the byproduct of trying to have everybody be a signing company, because they may not actually care about being a notary or even know what being a notary is. I've heard that people are taking these training courses and they're not even trying to be a notary. They're just doing it because they saw somebody said they can make money on it. And then they said, oh, well, I'll take it. And then if there's no vetting process by the trainer to say, are you really a notary? It's, hey, just take the course. Oh, you want to be a signing company? Come on over, be a signing company. Oh, you want to start this and you want to do your own training company? Okay, we'll teach you that. So, so that's where we're at now. And it's crazy. And this is why I'm thinking, like after everything that I've seen, that I've gone through this year, some good, some bad, I'm like, we got to take responsibility as notary business owners to make sure we are squared away. Because one of the things that I learned is that in 2008, there was so much mess going on with Bank of America and these other institutions trying to get these mortgages done. And they took advantage of notaries. And I'm sure there was a lot of notaries who got in trouble. Wouldn't be surprised if some of them went to jail because they was told to just sign, stamp, sign, stamp. And I honestly believe in 2024 and 2025, when supposedly this market rebounds, it's going to be imperative that we as notaries know our state law and not get suckered into doing stuff that's not right. It's going to be very, very important for us to do that, because I believe, and what I've been told, not definitively, but it's been alluded to, that signing company and primarily the title companies and the title insurance companies are putting things in place so they don't get screwed over by notaries like they did during the pandemic. Because there was notaries out there, nah, I'm not going to scan, I'm not going to do this, I'm not going to ship the documents, and they're putting things in place to drop the hammer on us. Well, guess what? If they're using signing companies and they tell those signing companies, this is what we want, this is how it's going to be, guess what? That's how it's going to be. And we got to be able to adapt to it. And those of us who can, we're going to be able to stay in business. Because what y'all don't realize is that they got people being laid off left and right. And maybe some of you do realize that. Well, guess what? The Wall Street Journal just came out with 2024 side hustles, and everybody's pushing side hustles again. Those trainers are pushing the stuff. They're pushing it on TikTok, and folk are so gullible. They don't know, like we know, that, okay, no, there's more to it. They're coming into this business, and guess what? If they come into this business and they are half the notary that Caprentice is and Eric is, they're going to be running circles around those of you who still sitting on the sideline. They're going to be running circles because they coming in, and the people I've talked to, they're coming in like, I'm not paying for that training because that's a bunch of bull. This is what they're telling me up front. I mean, it's like, I'm listening to him, I'm listening to her, and they just trying to sell stuff. Nah, I ain't down with that. Nah, the notary stuff can't be that difficult. I don't need to spend all that money. I don't need to buy all of that crap that they're talking about. Nah, nope. I see what I need to do. I'm gonna learn the state laws, and I'm gonna. So when you have those people come in and they start doing things right, and then you still sitting over here talking about, I'm scared, I don't know what I'm gonna do. I'm still trying, and they realize they don't need to learn those documents and stuff. And here's what's the truth. A lot of these people are like, I already know what a notary is supposed to do. I'm just trying to understand this loan closing thing. And now that I see what it's about, this is a piece of cake. So I ain't really supposed to be talking about the documents anyway, because I know my state law, because some of them are already notaries, or they got a friend that's a notary. And I'm sitting here like, y'all who sitting around playing with these games, worrying about all of this other stuff, and not out here trying to do some closings, y'all are missing out on an opportunity. I'm telling you, if you do 3 to 5 signings a month, in 6 months, you're going to have a good little bit under your belt. You're going to have some experience, and you're going to be able to market yourself a whole lot better in your profile. But if you don't start taking signings, it'll come June of next year. You got less than 20 signings, you might as well just hang it up. That's what I'm predicting right now. If you don't have, and I know it's hard to get them. I know that. but you got to take the order sometimes that nobody else wants. You got to drive the distance that nobody else wants to drive. Sometimes you got to take a loss just to get the experience. But in the end, it's going to pay off. And I'm taking a lot of losses. I've driven over an hour for $40. I've driven over to the eastern shore of Virginia and paid a $20 toll and lost money doing that. But I gained some experience, not about experience on how not to lose money, but experience in doing the closing that I could brag about and talk about in my profile. So what else y'all got, fellas?
Hey, touch on that profile again. It was you mentioned that one time before in a recent thing on YouTube where you were saying put that on your SnapDocs and this, that, and the other. I was trying to think of where I even saw an option to even do that because I'm on a few platforms. I use SnapDocs a lot, but I know you can put certain stuff in there. But as far as what you do, would you put down the list of all the closings that you've done, or just say you're well versed as a notary? Does that make sense?
Right now, I list the total number in my profile that I've done. In the beginning, what I was doing, I actually was listing it out individually. Let me give y'all an example real quick. So one of the things that I was doing, was I would do like I would type refi, I would do refinance, and then I would put like, let's just say I had 5 conventional, I would do 5 conventional, 6, FH, FHA, 10, VAs, I was doing that at one point in time, that I would do, buyers, 15, sellers, 20, HELOC, 4, loan app, 14. That's what I was doing. Then I eventually stopped breaking it down like this, and then I would just 16s. Then I would just be like, I've done 21 refis, and then I will put like, VA, FHA, conventional. I would do that in parentheses, and just let them know. So I've done a little bit of all of that. And then pretty much the same thing for here, VA, FHA, conventional, and the same thing for the sellers. And then if I've done like loan apps, I'll do, loan applications. And then I was separate and say, like HELOC, loan app, or however many I did. So in the beginning, I would break it down like that just to give a visual of, my diversification. So that, because what I found that just listening to some of the people when they would call me and they would ask me questions, they would say, okay, so how many, so have you done refis before? Yeah. I said, yeah, I've done some refis. And they would start asking me, had I done this type, that type? And I'll be honest with them, I'll tell you, well, actually, I wasn't really paying attention to the type. I said, but I'm sure that I have, they're like, okay, so do you do buyers? And the way they see, you got to pay attention to the way people ask you questions. Do you do buyers? Not have I done, but do I do them? And I'm like, yeah. I'm like, is there a concern? Because if you're asking me, do I do a certain thing, which I see no reason why I shouldn't, I'll say, is there a concern? Well, we come across notaries who say they don't do those types. And I'm like, did they say why? Because I'm trying to understand, and they're like, they just said they don't do buyers. I said, well, if it's something that needs to be notarized, I do it. Okay, good to know. And the next thing I know, I'm gonna get more buyers. I was asked the same thing about sellers and HELOCs and even loan apps. It's like, well, do you do these? I'm like, yeah, I do them. So down as time has gone by, I've learned that maybe some trainer has told the notaries don't do these particular type. Maybe they tried them. And what I've also learned is that some notaries did loan mock signings, but the mock signing for a buyer was only a few pages. And then you get the real buyer and it's 100 pages. And you get scared and it's like, oh, I ain't messing with those. That's too many pages. I ain't never seen these docs. And Prentice, that's the phrase, I ain't never seen this. So because you never seen it, you're not gonna get, well, you may have never seen an iPhone 85 that's titanium and ceramic tile, but you're gonna buy it. You're gonna sit there and I'm gonna figure out how to do it. There's so much stuff that we have not been exposed to, but yet these same folk are going on trips to everywhere. Why? Because I ain't never been there. So you're willing to spend $10,000 a year on travel to go to all these different places, but you won't take a buyer's because, well, I ain't never seen those pages before. I don't know what I'm getting into. But you're willing to go down into, I gotta be careful to make sure I don't get pinged with YouTube, but you're willing to go down to certain places that will snatch your behind up. That will snatch you up, and you go into the woods and you go out there by yourself, and you might not come back. You're willing to take that chance for that experience. You're willing to go cave diving, but you won't go take a seller's. You won't do a HELOC because the people are elderly. That's the stuff that doesn't make sense. And when I found out that people weren't doing these things, Eric, that's when I started marketing. And I started letting the in my profile, letting them know there's no limit to what I can do for you. If you need me to do it, I will do it. As long as it's something that I'm legally allowed to do, why would I say no to it? Well, you're not exposed. You don't know what you're getting into. Okay, so then the question comes, who out there is training notaries to the point that we can say, after I take this training, I'll be very well versed and I won't be afraid? And there's no one out there. There's nobody out there training notaries to that level, because what that does is now that gets into, the trainer, got to know these documents. You got to be able to assure that notary that what you're training them, they're actually going to see. And there's no guarantee. You can't guarantee that with 23,000 title companies. You can't guarantee that what you're going to see, what I'm training you on, you're going to see. I did one for Philadelphia. It said the daggone notarial statement started off, be it remembered this day. I'm like, what the heck? I'm like, be what? Remember who, where? I'm like, oh, heck no. What is this? I'm like, I most definitely ain't never seen that before. But it said, be it remembered this day. And I was like, oh, snap. I said, what the heck? And guess what, Eric? It was a last minute signing. It was a last minute signing that some dude found me out there on the internet, called me up and told me, it was like, hey, can you do this? And I was like, okay, yeah. He was like, bet, thank you. And Bates was like, what's your fee? I told him. He was like, no problem. I was like, okay. I said, I will be there. Went, met the person, some fancy doctor dude. And I was like, all right. Hold on, let me hold on. I gotta show y'all. Just so y'all can see. Hold on 1 second. Hold on. 1 second. Let me pull this up for y'all real quick. Hide his stuff. Right there, it said, be it remembered that on this date, person that came before me, the subscriber, so-and-so, party of the first part, to the indenture, known to me personally to be such an I'm like, what the heck of the heck of the heck? I'm sitting there. So you can come across anything, and you just got to be able to flow with it. And that's where a lot of people are stuck at. A lot of people are stuck on, I got to know everything there is about this. But what's crazy is that you don't put that same effort in your W-2. A lot of y'all don't take your annual training on time. How many of y'all probably done got pink? Oh, well, you would have got a 2% pay raise, but you didn't take any of your annual training on time. How many times did we have to send you reminders to do your training? You went on vacation and you was told to get your training done before you went on vacation, and you didn't. So that's why you're getting a 0.5% pay raise this year. I mean, let's be real. That happens all the time in government contract. As a government contractor, when I was at, we had to do the government's training. So we had our company training and then training from the government themselves. And guess what? They would do all stop. They were like, nobody do any work. You spend in the next 2 days, get every piece of training done right now. And it was like, oh, snap. But then you become a notary and you won't do anything until you say you know everything about everything. And I don't understand where people are coming with that from. I mean, what's your thoughts on that?
Griff, I would say that's impossible. If I thought that I had to learn everything about every document, I would never have done a signing. It's impossible. Like it just, you walk in there, you see the documents. Even if I don't have a chance to prep the documents, it's not very difficult. You look at the document. Here's the title of the document. It is what it is. Recently, I've been getting some out of like Texas and other like Midwestern and southern states, and they're like talking about mineral rights. I'm like, I don't know what that is. I mean, I could figure it out if I needed to, but that's not my purpose of being there. You obviously purchase the property. There's people who know about these documents, who drafted the documents, and majority of time in most of our states, it's like escrow or lenders. Reach out to them. In majority of times, it's the borrower or seller has the contact information. So if they really want to understand what that is, all they have to do is like contact them. Hey, we're available. Or they're what's it called? They're real estate agent. Like all these people who probably understand the transaction even more so than what we do. They're there at their disposal because they all are going to make money off the transaction. So it behooves them to ensure, hey, I'm available. And there are going to be times that they're not available, but the reality is they usually are. But you can't sit there on the sidelines. And Griff, I know you've talked about it plenty of times since I've been here, since the last 3 years, and I've heard it so many times. And so many people, that's the questions that come in here, and they ask the same things over and over again. You don't have to like worry about this going in. You'll be fine, because the reality of the situation is the people, the biggest thing that they care about is that the numbers are straight. That is all that they care. That's what reality is. It's like, if the numbers are off, then they're like, I'm not doing this, or we need to get somebody on the phone. But these disclosures, probably across the board, the 50 states, the disclosures that they're signing, they most likely sign them during the loan application process. And if you don't take loan applications, you would never know that. And so it's pretty simple. It's a pretty simple idea, which is why you are so like well read is because of you've been taking all these signings. You've taken all signings all over the place in different types. And so then you understand and you ask questions outside of the signings to other people just in case something happens. But reality is most of the people, they know what they're doing, you know, especially people who like are investors and whatnot. You just have to just go in there and just say, hey, I need to do this for my family. And that's what you have to treat it as. Like this matters to me. This things that I'm doing, you're always supposed to put forth the effort. If you do anything, you're supposed to put the effort. You're supposed to put the effort forward. Otherwise, there's no point in doing it. So I'm waiting for that reckoning that you're talking about when people in June and people are going to be complaining on the internet, going on YouTube and all these other social medias. I can't get any work. You know, I mean, I've been a notary for 5 years, but you know what? I never did anything, so I can't get any signs. Well, what were you doing for the last 5 years? Picking your nose? Like, it's hate to say it, but that's how I feel.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and everything. Now, for people who still hanging in here, you're probably saying, well, the title said, you know, was like looking forward to 2024. Now, when I do my stuff, I don't sit here and be like, okay, here's the thing to look forward to. As you hear us talking, you should be understanding, I need to change the way I'm approaching this business. I need to vet whose information I'm listening to and make sure that they're qualified to even be speaking into my ear or into my life whatsoever. And I need to make sure that what they're telling me to do is even legal. So for your 2024 successful business strategy, as a graphic that I put up there, it says, you got to start taking your business serious. And you can't keep just leaning on somebody to do it for you. And that, okay, I'm going to just pay people to give me answers. And then I'm going to just go do it. And then, yeah, that's going to be me being successful. No, you got to work this thing, because when you just do what everybody has told you and you haven't tried to put forth any effort to learn it yourself, it's really not your success, it's their success, in my opinion. That's them being successful, and then they feel and then it's like, well, pay me. Keep paying me. You want to be successful? And you end up getting to a point of you have to keep paying them in order to stay successful, because you never learned how to be successful on your own. And that's all I'm ever really talking about and trying to encourage y'all, is to figure it out for yourself, because it's simple enough that you can figure it out. And that's why one of the questions that people keep, you know, y'all hear me say, they'll hear the information. They're, okay, this is what it is, ... And then they'll call me and say, well, I was just checking. And I'm like, what were you checking? Well, you said, okay, and what didn't you understand? Well, I understood what you said, but I'm just checking that you said. Well, you heard me say it. It's on video. And what it is, we're sometimes afraid to be bold and to step out. And we're afraid to make mistakes. And that's why I keep saying it's not about being perfect. It's just about doing things correctly. Because you're never going to have the perfect signing. The only thing that, heck, you remember that song, Looking for the Perfect Beat. You're sitting here looking for the perfect beat. The beat is what it is. It may not, because what's perfect to you may not be perfect to someone else. And it's key that you learn how to do things correctly, because everything else around you can be all jacked up, messed up. Even today, I had 4 signings, and 3 of them was with my direct client, and they had issues with each and every single one of them. And guess what? I did my part correctly. None of them was perfect. None of them went smooth. Even the last one of the day, everything was all set. Supposed to meet them at 5, they get there half hour late. But guess what? I did my part correctly. They got their funding and they moved into their new house with their kids. That's what's important, because when you do your stuff correctly, and I think some people are doing this business as a way to deal with their own self-esteem issues, because when I hear people constantly crying about they want somebody to recognize their worth and their value, that there's more to it than that. Because here's the thing, why do you want somebody who you really are not going to ever meet? You're not going to ever meet the signing company owner. You're not going to meet the title company people. You're not going to meet a lot of the lenders, but you want them to look at you as somebody of worth and value, as if you're their employee, as if they have some type of like, okay, like, yeah, you're no, they hired you just to do a job. Yes, we are a number to them. We're just an individual who is it. Because guess what? That same lender could get rid of that title company. That same title company could say, we don't want to work with that lender, but they're still doing business. And when I realized that it's about me being available to the person who has the ability to pay me, that's when I was like, okay, I'm not worried about somebody valuing me, giving me kudos, all this here. What's your grading system? You know, how many stars you got from the signing company and the this and the that. I don't care about that. What I care about is, do you have work for me that's going to keep my family fed? Oh, you do? Then what do you need me to do? Okay, you know what? Everything you want me to do is in line with my state laws. It doesn't cause me to violate them. So I will work with you. Oh, what you want me to do violates my state law? You know what? I can't rock with that. I'm busy. I'm booked. I'm sorry. I can't do it. I mean, that's really where it's at. It's like doing what you would do in your W-2 or somebody, hey, we want you to do this here. And while you're, on a nursing station at night, we're going to have these three guys come in. Don't question who they are. And they're going to go to the supply room and you just walk away. You're going to be like, nah, I'm not getting involved in that. So why would you get involved in doing something illegal and that's not right with the notary business, but yet you wouldn't do that in your W-2? That's what I've been seeing in this thing, and that's why you have what Prentice said earlier. You go to a closing, and then you go to do the oath with somebody, and they're like, "Whoa, what is this? What is this book you got me signing? It's the notary law book. What do you mean notary law book? I ain't never heard of that. Well, sir, you supposed to sign this? No, I'm not signing. I mean, I've had people tell me they're not going to sign the notary law book because they've never been presented it before. I'm not doing the oath because I've done 15 closings and nobody's ever done this. And I'm sitting here, I'm like, this is what notaries are doing. So notaries from the past, this is how you're messing things up for us now. And that's what I'm trying to work toward. See, our job isn't to know the type of documents, just to know the notary laws and LSA training. Well, when you say LSA training, what is the LSA training you to do? Out that knowing your notary laws, because how not knowing, I guess the question would be, because this goes into another thing, Ms. V. Like state of North Carolina doesn't recognize the term loan signing agent. And I've been told that by at least 5 different notaries that are down there. You can't call yourself a loan signing agent. So when you say loan signing agent training, what type of training are we being trained in that needs to complement our notary laws? That's the question. Now, if you're talking about the NNA aspect of it, you look at the NNA training. The NNA training does what? Just basically helps you to understand what not to do. It's really, when you really look at the NNA training, the questions are primarily about, don't do this. Can you do this? You shouldn't be doing that. Just because you got 10 years in the business doesn't mean you can go telling people about stuff on the document. I mean, that's what the LSA, really as they call it, the NSA, the notary signing agent training focuses on with the NNA. And then you take the signing agent training course that they have, that even goes even deeper and like letting you know that, hey, this is what you can and can't do. So, and the only reason why I pointed out, because a lot of people get caught on the word LSA. They really focus on LSA as if being an LSA or this here, like if you're a notary, you can't do loan closings. And I've never been told that. I've even been told by the National Notary Association that you don't have to be a certified notary signing agent, because all you need is somebody that says, hey, are you a notary? Do you know how to notarize properly? Yeah. Okay. You can sign these documents, and then you work out the fees between them. Certain certification stuff that the NNA talks about is because they're just trying to make sure we're not out here doing stuff illegally, overstepping our bounds and all of that. So we have to be careful when we talk, as if we're emphasizing the loan signing agent aspect of this, or notary signing agent, as if you can't do loan closings without, like you can't do that as a notary, because then you have to ask the state or state of whatever, do you feel that way? And if the state says you're correct, you have to be a loan signing agent in order to do real estate transactions, not talking about the typical stuff, then that's when you can say that. But you have to be careful about that and everything, because a lot of people put more emphasis on that. And I got fussed at by a young lady, told me that I'm just a notary. She said, Griff, you're just a notary, and I'm a loan signing agent, and therefore I can do more than you. I'm sitting here like, I wonder where she's at now. So how has your year been, Prentice?
So actually, I was just like working on that today, like my notary gadget stuff. So this year was actually not too bad. It was almost comparable to last year. So just from like a numbers standpoint, I did well according to this, including my signings I have tomorrow and Sunday. I did 122. So that wasn't like too bad, and that's in comparison to last year where I was at a little bit more, like 156. But obviously our rates were a little bit higher this year. So I'm like, some of that's tied to that. And then it was a little over 10K. So Garrick, you don't necessarily know, but if you haven't been on here, but I'm very similar. I do this as part-time. So I take what comes like my way that fits into my schedule for my 9 to 5. But overall, Griff, I definitely say it was better. My profit actually went up. Then over the last 2 years, it was kind of different. I wasn't expecting that. So, but overall, still get calls, still get the text messages to like take signings. And if they work for me, then I take them. And I would say that majority of time I take them. And even to the point where I'm at now, I'll negotiate. I'll still go to the places that we've talked about, like the places that I don't necessarily, I don't think they're the top of the list. However, when they work with what I'm asking for, then I'm good to go, and you can do that when you have more signings, and you obviously have more than both of us put together. But we can negotiate, and it's not about coming in there and saying, hey, I'm going to take this. It needs to be $130. No, like if something's around the corner and it's like, it's the $40, even $30, why am I not going to take it? I'm not going to be making money anyways during that time, most likely. And I think that the one thing that I was just thinking about recently is if people were to say, hey, like, I know you've broken down the times that you have like gotten signings, but if everyone wanted to track every year where they didn't take a signing based off an alert, and we'll just in theory say they gotten it, and they would have gotten another alert at that same time that they took the signing, I would probably venture to say probably not. So they just decided not to make money instead of going to get wherever that particular pay was. But for me though, like I said, this year was a great year, 2023. I'm looking forward to like 2024. I set goals, just like you. I need to do a certain amount that I like want to do. And I want to keep expanding like this, and not take on too many things. I know somebody in the chat, I think it was Nasita. I don't have the chat up right now, but she talked about people trying to do literally too much. I'm going to do this. I'm going to jump into this. And we've had discussions about this too. So this is coming full circle. And ultimately, I'm going to just keep improving and hopefully like everybody here, all the party people continue like with their business and just get out there. If they're scared to do signings, get out there, and I know that you've done a lot with your training, and people just need to watch your training. You've done mock trainings. Like it's all there. If I would have had that, and I know the question you posed it to Eric about the training, and I think I've told you this before, had I like had the training, had you there, and let's watch your stuff, then I definitely would have felt more confident about my abilities too going in. And I don't think I would have needed to necessarily pay for training, because the stuff that I'm doing, you cover like everything. And if it's not covered on a video, guess what you do? Hey, I'm going to talk about these questions. You're always telling people to ask you questions, because then it makes makes it a conversation versus a one-way talking session. Obviously you love yourself. I love myself. Eric loves himself, but having a discussion where people can really discuss important things, it's a great thing to have. And so hopefully everyone just strives to do the best in this particular industry. But I'm definitely happy with where I'm at, just to say the least. And I hopefully next year I can tack on another couple thousand to that number that I got this year.
Yeah. And I'll be honest real quick. I've been taking my stuff like a quarter at a time, and it's like, okay, I gotta make this money. I gotta find a way to get through the summer. But first it was like get through the spring. So when the January, I was like, okay, I gotta make it to about March. I said, if I can make it to like May, then maybe the real estate market will change. And then I got to May, and I'm like, okay, things are getting worse. I'm like, hey, okay, what I'm gonna do, and it's like, but then I was like, but I noticed what changed was HELOCs was popping, just tons and tons of HELOCs. Then all of a sudden during the summer, all these military people was moving to Florida or out of Florida. I was like, okay. Then the home builders started doing the mortgage buy downs. Some people are like, nah, because the mortgage buy down is the interest rate is 8%. We'll have you buy it down to 5%, but it's only for 5% for 1, maybe 2 years, and then it goes back up. And I'm like, that's on y'all. Sign, stamp, I made my money. I was like, you know what? Blinders on. I don't see nothing. Nope, that's on you. That's your decision. Let me rock and roll. And next thing I know, I'm like, okay, man, up until October, I was averaging 70 a month. And in November, I think November was the first month that I did in a while this year that I was below 60. I don't even know how many I'm at this month. But what I noticed this year for me, I've been getting a lot more last minute signings. I've been getting a lot more people calling me that's finding me wherever. And they just calling like, yo, can you knock this out for us? I'm like, okay, yeah. I'm getting more Ron. 5 Rons this month. I'm like, okay, cool. Almost $1,000 in Ron. I'm like, I'm like, okay. And it trips me out because I'm like, if I took the attitude and the approach that other people were saying, complaining about how many pages to print, and all of that, I wouldn't make any money. I literally would. I would just shut down everything. Y'all be like, man, I wonder what happened to Griff, because I would be just embarrassed. I would just disappear, and y'all be like, well, there was a guy named Griff at one time. I don't know where he at, because I couldn't see, like you were saying, if I don't take this, can I make money? And even the other day, me and my wife had some stuff to do, and there was orders that had came in, and I was like, I can't take any of them because I got to go do this stuff with my wife. And I know I'm going to be busy until 12. And then next thing I know, once I get going, all of a sudden, I'm getting these last minute signings to do that made up for what I missed in the beginning of the day. So I'm sitting here like, that's why I was saying, I think today or whatever, I'm like, just get out here. It's just amazing how things just work out when you work. When you go out here, things line up. That, okay, I got this going on, that going on, how I'm getting, and then it's like, bam, I got it all done, and I made $500 a day, or $600, or $300, and I wasn't even really expected to make half that. But next thing I know, boom, and it comes down to your willingness to work. And if you can be willing to work in your W-2, Why can't you be willing to work in your business? But what's happening is there's too many people getting on the internet to tell you what they don't like about the business. And that right now is my new pet peeve going into 2024, is that all of these people keep coming into this business and they're doing stuff that we saw in 2020 and 21 and some of 2022. Yeah, and I'm gonna tell you the truth about the notary business. You get in there and it's really for clicks and bites. And let me share this with y'all. Now, y'all know I put some decent content out. I get maybe 300 or 400 views on some of my videos. If you go and look at my videos, I'm not getting thousands and thousands of views. I'll be honest, when I was like, I'm listening to some of these other people and I'm like, your delivery is weak. The content you're talking about doesn't make sense. You're just all over the place and you're really just sitting here complaining. But the thing says you got 2,000 views and you've only had it up for 7 hours. A lot of these people, I'm gonna just say a lot of these people are allegedly paying for views, allegedly paying for clicks, allegedly paying for subscribers. I got a daggone notification from somebody on Instagram telling me how I can pay them to get so many subscribers and followers and stuff on Instagram. They do that on YouTube. And a lot of those, that's why when the business shifted and notary started getting out of the industry, that's why so many of your supposed favorite YouTubers that were notaries got out and shifted, because they couldn't keep paying for all of those clicks and this, that, and the other. And then YouTube started clamping down on it, and then they couldn't make the money. So be mindful that when you see somebody and they got some weak content, but you see them with a high number of views, and they're like, wait a minute, it's really 5,000 people in 10 hours looking at this information. You got to ask yourself, it's like, nah. And when I did the research, I was like, oh, nope, that's it. And yeah, because I was feeling bad, I was like, man, I ain't doing good. But now I'm like, you know what? I'm cool with my 300-400 views per video. As long as y'all get the good information, we chop it up. I'm good. I'm good. And they can have those fake 5,000 views. I'll deal with the 300-400 real party people. So what's your plans going forward, Eric, for this upcoming year?
For next year, I'm actually gonna take a little break. I want to finish this thing I started a few years ago. Uh, I'm working on finishing up my master's, and with my daytime job and the notary work on the side, it's hard for me to spend the kind of time I need to do for my master's program to finish it. So I'm actually going to cut back a little bit of the notary work, knock out I think I have like 3 classes left, and knock out those 3 classes and jump back into it. Because the place where I'm in right now, this is my office. I built it in my garage. I was going all in on being a notary full time, and a lot of stuff happened to me like in the middle of the year, which kind of threw me back a little bit. And now I'm working on I'm rebuilding. Once I'm set, I'm off and running. But I want to say this one thing before I go. I kind of have to get out of here. I wanted to say this came to mind when Caprices was talking. Being a notary is like riding a bike, right? You can pay for somebody to train you how to ride, and you're gonna think you're gonna be just the best at it, and you're gonna get out there and you fall. Well, that's gonna happen, and you're not gonna be ready for every little thing. There's always gonna be some kind of twist, some kind of turn, something unexpected is bound to happen at some point. So just get out there and just do it and keep doing it. The more you do it, the better you get at it, and then you can say you're flawless. You can say if you had 10 or more consecutive practice without issues. You know what I'm saying? But just think of it that way.
Yeah, you're absolutely right. I like that. So you finishing up your master's degree. That's good. That is, oh man, that is. That's awesome. That is. I ain't messing with no more school. I am done. I am done with yeah, nah, I'm done. Nah, I can't mess with no more school. I'm completely done. I don't want to learn nothing else and everything. But yeah, no, that's good, man. But look, man, thanks for hopping on. I greatly appreciate it. Love talking with you earlier this evening
Same
and
here.
everything. And as always, man, if there's anything I can do to help you out, hit
You've
me
already
up,
done. You've already
and
done.
I got you covered.
I appreciate it, sir. And nice meeting everybody. I'll talk to you soon.
All right, my man. So yeah, all right. So if you need to hop on, Cap, feel free, man.
It's early over here for us, so.
Oh, okay. Yeah. And so, but yeah, people do pay for followers and stuff. Um, um, yeah. So I can show y'all real quick. Shoot, right here. Grow my profile. Buy YouTube subscribers for your channel real cheap. Buy 4,000 watch hours and 1,000 subscribers with organic delivery. Gain YouTube subscribers. Pay for your YouTube subscribers. Buy YouTube subscribers fast. I mean, it's out there. It is out there, and is it legal? It's legal to purchase promotional service, but YouTube does take issue with artificial engagement. And that's why you hear me all the time saying click the like button, because here's what happens when you have these AI things watching, they can't click it. They can't click the like button. So you can get people watching and the views go up. Okay, we got 16,000 people, we got 3,000 people, but then you only see, like 10 likes. So that's why YouTube, they literally like, okay, if you got this many people watching, you need to have a certain number of likes. So if you like the video, it pushes it out more. So that's why I had to start asking people, hey, make sure you click the like button, run the little thing down at the bottom to remind people to like to like it, to share and comment. So all of that interaction, and that's why I'm always asking, hey, drop some questions in there, because when there's no interaction, YouTube will think that it's bots watching until they actually sit there and like analyze it themselves. So you will see that's why sometimes you'll see somebody have subscribers, their subscriber base will go up, and then it comes down because there's bots that subscribe to your channel, and then you're thinking, oh, okay, yeah, I done hit this milestone, and then it drops down. So you're like, okay, I got 1,000 subscribers, cool, I can get monetized, and then it drops down 15, and then it goes up 12, then it drops down 3, and it just constantly does this back and forth and everything. Because like when I hit 15,000 subscribers, I'm like, oh, okay, yeah, I hit it. Then I wake up in the morning, I'm back down to 998. I'm like, what the heck? So even with the 16,000, I was like, I ain't saying that. I'm gonna wait until I get, because I'm sitting here, I'm like, man, this stuff is just crazy. So you do have a lot of that kind of stuff. They did it to grow Facebook, but they send you they send you a bunch of bots, and YouTube is getting really, really good at figuring that out. Stuff, valuable lessons learned, not to purchase followers and likes. Yeah, organic. Because, like I said, it takes some effort to come up with ideas and content and things, and to be quick on your feet to answer stuff, um, and all of that. It's like, okay, and I'm a talker anyway, so it sort of works with me. And if your mind is constantly going, but if you are nervous, you're afraid, you know, this isn't easy to do. I mean, honestly, doing YouTube isn't easy. It takes some time, some effort, equipment, lighting, all of that kind of stuff, setting up so that you can deliver the best product you can for people, and I don't have a production team that's watching the questions for me. I have my eye, okay, okay, got it, and remind myself, okay, go back and answer people's questions and stuff because everybody's questions is important to me. And I work, and I guess you could sort of say my YouTube channel with this here, I work for y'all. Y'all the ones who tell me what y'all want to know. So that's why I tell people, give me content, tell me what you want, and I'll address it. I'll talk about it. I try to deal with the behaviors and the statements that people make, not so much the person, unless they come at me. And then go ahead on.
So, Griff, I was just thinking, and I totally forgot about this, and I thought it'd be good to bring that up. So, what do you think about the ramifications about? I know you've heard about it because you do a lot of signings between the fidelity issue and the First American issue that just happened recently regarding the hacking or whatnot. So, how do you think that's going to play out? And I'm just thinking, to me, that might impact who they choose to be notaries as well. Just in my personal opinion, like come next year, just because none of us know how it got compromised. It very well could have been somebody, a notary who something happened to one of them. But I was just thinking like that might be an issue for everybody coming this year as well.
And see, I don't know. I mean, I've heard like that. I mean, very little. So help me understand what actually went down.
So, I mean, they basically said, so between, this is a couple weeks ago, I think it was like 2 or 3 weeks ago, all of a sudden, BankServe shut down. Obviously, as you know, BankServe's under Fidelity. You couldn't get on at all. And I was like, what's going on with this? I'm like, is it just me? So I went on to see, and they were hush hush about it. They didn't say anything to the following week that they reopened. And they said, hey, they had to come out and report it that they had been compromised. This was Fidelity. The other day, the same thing happened with First American, where they basically had told them like their systems were down, and First American was down longer. So I think it was like a full week that First American was down, where orders that people had that they had to do, they couldn't get their paperwork. A lot of stuff was going on to the point where even was it yesterday that I had a signing? Griff, the stuff was all off. And my girlfriend had a signing as well that was First American related today. Same thing. It was like the paperwork was all messed up. And you could tell, like, you could see when you look at the documents and you see that the stuff is like, it's whited out. So they're reusing the paperwork that they used previously. And so I'm like, yeah, I could tell this. And to the point where the borrowers who I did yesterday, they almost didn't sign it. Like, we can just wait till 2024 when you guys get your stuff in order. They were on the phone talking about this. So I knew that it's been a big deal. But I haven't heard how it happened. But the reality is it happened to two different big title companies. I can only sense that might be a big issue for us going forward.
Yeah, because I heard something happen, but I really didn't know. And I wish I could remember. It might have been in one of my lives. Somebody may have mentioned it, and I was like, "Oh, okay," But I never heard anything like anything. I haven't seen an email from BankServe yet. They haven't, Now from a cyber, because I got a background in cybersecurity, I know that they have a certain amount of time after a breach that they have to notify the people. And the crazy part is, by the time that whatever that time period is, your stuff could be all over the place. Your stuff gonna snap. And I think it's more than 30 days. I forget. It might be a couple of months. It's either 30 days at minimum or maybe a month or so, or a little more than a couple of months. But they have to tell you, and they have a certain amount of time to do it in. So yeah. And this again, this is why it's important for us not to go and try to get into taking shortcuts and backdoors, and then qualify the stuff that people are telling us. We got to make sure that, okay, if so-and-so is telling me this, we got to do more due diligence and say, okay, Fred, I know you this big time notary train. I know you making all of this, that, and the other money, but let's just be real. What the heck are you talking about? Show me some proof that this, that, and the other. Show me this is legal for me to do. And if they're like, well, I don't get into all of that. Okay, then why are you telling me to do stuff, but yet you don't want to address or deal with the fact that it might not be right? You see what I'm saying? So there's a level of responsibility that comes on them. And let's just be real. A lot of these so-called trainers out here and these people with this, you know, all of this so-called spiritual and morning meditation and affirmation and, mind minutes, all that. They put the blame on the notary. They're like, you need to be responsible for your own. You need to make sure that if you're listening to me that, hey, and it's like, okay, so if I need to be responsible, then that means I have a right to question you. You're telling me to be responsible. So what does being responsible look like? So that's the question. So being a responsible business owner looks like me questioning you about something you want me to pay you for. You want me to pay you? Then you know what? You need to answer some questions and show me some documentation. Oh yeah, I'm making all this money. Okay, I want to see your notary gadget, notary assist. What that? No. You're gonna have to do something. You got to do something. You got to show me something. And if they're not willing to show you, because they can show you privately, they can get on a Zoom and show you, okay, you do. You ain't got no second notary gadget. This ain't the fake notary gadget with a bunch of fake numbers in it. And just so y'all know, there were people doing that, y'all. They had two notary accounts. They would have one with assist and one with gadget. Or they might have had two, because they had two different claiming they were notary and all that. And then they will have one that had all of these numbers in there that weren't real, but their actual stuff was like they only made $10,000 in the last 2 years. But then they had this fake one with all of this stuff up, allegedly. But you got to remember, people are making this into a bona fide scam by, what's the proper word? Inflating the reality of this. Like, you can make all of this money, and a lot of people are looking at this like, is this for real? How can you just make and they don't tell them you're in California, or you get $15 a stamp, or you work in this particular area, this, that. They don't tell them all of that. They don't do that. They just make them think that, oh, okay, all you got to do is have a stamp and a printer, and everybody's just looking for a notary. Everybody's just hunting you, and that is not the case. I mean, they calling me at times where I want to chill. I'm like, I just want to chill, and I ain't gonna lie, my phone stay on 24/7, just in case somebody calls. And y'all seen I've done the video. I'm sitting here minding my business, and guess what? An order come through at midnight. It's like, what? Okay, lately I've been waking up. I've been getting up at 6 a.m, and I'm seeing notifications come through at 3 for orders. Yes. And I'm sitting here like, and I'm looking at it, and I click, and then they say, okay, it's assigned to you. I'm like, oh. I mean, this month alone, I think I've got maybe 3 orders assigned to me that came in around 3 or so o'clock, 3:30 in the morning. And by the time I wake up, they still sitting there. And I'm like, and I click on it, and it doesn't say, oh, this has already been assigned. I'm like, interested. And then I get the notification, you've been assigned. I'm like, okay. Same thing with some of the house inspection stuff. All of a sudden, I I'm sleeping. I mean, I don't know why I didn't hear the notification, but I'm sleeping. Next thing I know, let's say I go to the restroom, and now if I go to the restroom in the middle of the night, I'm, I'm checking my phone to see if there's notifications, and sometimes I see house inspection notifications that came in at 2, 3, 4 o'clock in the morning. Okay, I got three house inspections a day. That's how I'm making my money, just being available and ready at any time. And I ain't gonna lie, it can be stressful. I ain't gonna lie, it can be stressful because if that's not what you want to do, you don't want to be on that type of alertness, then it can be too much for you. But since I'm doing it full time, I don't want to do a W-2 anymore. It's either do it or don't do it. And after a while you get used to it and stuff like that. So what Miss Janice said here. Janice said to clarify my statement about the boss. Okay. Was sent to my page and was hacked by some of those bots. Yep, they will hack it. Yep. Oh, what? Yeah, that's three. Yeah, three trays. Yeah. The bottom one is legal, and then the other two is letter. And like I've said in other videos, it prints slower because it has to pull from so far down with the legal. But it's this it's about being efficient. You know, with me doing the number of closings that I'm doing and needing to be ready. And that's why I was saying the other day, my body, my natural part of me, like I'll print later. But my experience side of me was like, let me print now. And I'm glad that I did, because by me printing, even though it was 6, 7 hours before the closing, and yeah, the instructions might have said don't print until 2 hours before, and they don't want you to print that early, because if you print that early and then they cancel 4 hours, you might like, look, I printed, give me a print fee. I'm at the point now, if I get a print fee, cool. If I don't, I don't. Because I started thinking about it. How often are my orders being canceled? Not that often. So from an efficiency standpoint, it will be better for me to go ahead on and get all of my documents printed either the night before or first thing that morning or whatever, so that I have everything taken care of in case something else comes up last minute. And that's what I've been seeing. So that day, orders came up last minute, and by me already having my documents printed, there was a level of stress that I didn't have to go through trying to like, okay, let me hear and print this one, and now I got to print that. It was just, let me just print the new one that came up. I already got the ones for today that was scheduled. I'm set, and I'm able to flow and maneuver a whole lot easier that way. So I just figured, I say, I got to find a way to be more efficient. And if you're going to do this thing full time, at some point, you're going to have to be more efficient, and having 2 printers is going to put you in position for doing that. Yes, it's more expensive, more paper, more toner, extra drums and all of that. But when you see the money that you can make, and you feel and you see how much stress you're not under, this has been a game changer for me, man. Because you doing what you still got. I know you probably still got 1 printer.
Yeah, so Griff, I have 1 printer. I have 2 scanners because we leave one stays here, and then one we'll just take to go. The Raven goes with us, and then I have the Epson 580 that stays. So I have 1 printer. But one thing that I've learned is that, and this is definitely from you, is you talk about the stress. I don't think I think that it increases when you're full time, but even as a part time, when you're supposed to do something, you're expecting something to happen. You have a signing, and you don't pay attention to your equipment. You don't pay attention to your supplies. It is stressful, and that's happened to me a couple times in the last few months, where I've either ran out of toner because I didn't prepare. I didn't adequately prepare, have enough toner, like where I had another one on the side. And the same thing with paper, specifically legal paper. And legal is just like, you can't just run down to like all these stores. they don't have them like in stock. And so fortunately, like I was able to get some, but it was a stressful situation on both of those times because yeah, I know I could do other things, but I don't want to turn around and look bad because like that basically means you're not organized. You failed to make sure you have enough paper. So now you want to ask us to like deviate from the process that we're telling you to do. We want this to be, say they want to be on all legal, which you know you've dealt with, Griff, where they're like, because people don't have dual tray printers, so they're like, well, we can always shrink the pages down if we have all legal. But obviously that's the one they don't have in stock. Everyone has letter. I can go to Walmart, I can go to Target, I probably can go to like the grocery store and get letter paper, like a ream of that, but legal is a different story. So that's one of the things that I'm looking towards like this year's 100%. It's like having like almost like on auto order, to be honest, because it's relatively consistent about how many signings I'm getting per month. Except for the last few months, I've been like doing in the 20s. So I'm going to make sure that that's the case. But I think any of the people here should take that as like, hey, I need to have all this stuff. Yes, you have to put money into this business, but it will pay dividends because that stress, just like you mentioned, will not be on you. You're not sitting there waiting around and then orders come in and you can't do them because you don't have the equipment or you don't have the supplies. Then you're sitting there looking like a dummy because you could have like brought in a couple $100 across several signings and you chose not to and you made a choice because you didn't buy the stuff and you weren't ready. And, you know, as we all say, you know what, you have to stay ready. It's not about getting ready. It's about like staying ready. And the way you do that is having the stuff that you need to have.
Yeah. And the big thing is you have to be forward looking, like all of this stuff that's floating in the background: vision, discipline, innovation, perseverance, leadership, all of this stuff. You got to sit here and say, okay, what do I need to, if I want to be full time, or even if I want to be part time, how do I make this happen? Understanding your schedule. So my schedule is this. My wife's schedule is this. The kids is this. So when can I squeeze in closings? Okay. Now what happens? And this is the thought process I went through. I'm working 9 to 5. I can come in a little bit earlier. I can go a little bit later. Okay. So what happens if somebody says, we got a closing for you today? Okay. Well, first we want to know what time. 3 o'clock. Am I in a position at my job that I can probably leave early and take some vacation time? Do I have vacation time to take? Or am I the person that, no, I can't use my vacation time because I got to save it for our family trip to Aruba and all of that? Then, okay, I'm going to be limited. So I can't take my vacation time. So now I'm limited. I can't do the closings at 3 because I can't leave because I don't want to use my vacation time. Okay. Because I can't tell the family we're not going to Aruba because we don't paid the money for it because that was done before I became a notary. Okay, cool. So when can I do it? And then once I figured out when I can do these closings, then I had to figure out what's the logistics of being able to get home, print the papers, and then get ready to hop back in the car and go. And then I had to coordinate stuff with my wife and my children. And once I got all of that figured out, then I was like, okay, so even if it was just 1 or 2 signings a week, I was like, all right, cool. But then I said, what if I get an order that's a week out or 2 weeks out? Okay, you know what? I might have to take some vacation time because if an order comes in for 12 o'clock or 1 o'clock and it's paying $150, okay, you know what? We might have to leave to go to Aruba a little bit later. And then it got to a point where we're not going to Aruba because I'm actually making money now. And you know what? I'm good. Y'all go ahead on. We'll give the ticket to Uncle Fred who wanted to go anyway. He'll pay me back for that and all that kind of stuff. So it was like, I need to figure out how to make this thing happen. And I just set a goal of I wanted to make enough money doing notary so I didn't have to work that part-time job I was working with Enterprise, and I could stop doing Grubhub and Instacart and all of that stuff. So I'm working my regular job, but I was doing all that other stuff. So it just led me to taking everything, because if I'm trying to make $2,000 a month, and that's all I was trying to make when I first started, I can't make $2,000 a month being nitpicky. but I can make $2,000 a month picking everything that Nick don't want to pick. Anything that Nick don't want, I can go ahead on and pick it up. And that's how I got to being at $2,000 a month. And then I was able to let that part-time job go that I was only getting $248 every 2 weeks. And I was working from 5 p.m. to sometimes 2 in the morning, shoveling cars back and forth with Enterprise. They weren't paying a whole lot. And I was like, and then I got to get back up the next morning and go to my regular job. And then, yeah, it was a butt kicker. It was kicking my butt. And I was like, okay, it was cool for a little bit. But when I saw the financial potential of the notary, I was like, I'm all in. And I said, you know what? I hear them talking about being this. And just so you know, people, all of this talk about notary pay and we not getting this and that. 2018, that's the first thing I heard as soon as I got in this business. Well, they need to pay us more. 2020, they need to pay us more. 21 and 22, they need to pay us more. And that's what we heard all year long. So every single year, it's the same thing. A new notary comes in and they realize that they really got to work this. Oh, no, they need to pay me more. I didn't even go down that road. And I just took advantage of the opportunity that was there. I figured out what I needed to do to be more efficient, to get more orders, almost like the movie Pursuit of Happiness. He said, what? I figured out that if I hang the phone up, that's wasting time and I can get X amount of more calls in. And see, we see movies like that, but we don't apply them to our own life. So I started realizing, okay, what can I do to make things happen quicker? Okay, well, I already got the printer full of paper. I got my folders laid out. I got this, I got that. I got my notary bag in the car. All I got to do is just get home, log in, print, and then I'm good. And see, back then, you could stay logged in to signing order and SnapDocs, and they wouldn't log you out every 2 seconds. Now they don't keep you logged in that long because of all the people, I guess, hacking and all of that. So, but back then, you could actually like, okay, in the morning, I'm gonna log into SnapDocs, and SnapDocs would keep you logged in for several hours and stuff. So I was like, okay, I'll log into SnapDocs, log into signing order, and all I had to do was just get in, hit the refresh, and there's my order. Boom. You know, I was good to go. Another way that I figured how I do using Adobe, you can save stuff. If you got the full version and the app on your phone, you can download the documents from SnapDocs or signing order to your phone and then upload them to the Adobe cloud, your secure cloud on Adobe, which means you get a chance while you're at work to look the documents over to see if there's anything that's going to throw you off. So I'm at work, just being straight with you, in the bathroom. Yeah, I got to go to the bathroom, and I'm on my phone. Okay, yep, I'm good. And if I got to research something, okay, I do. And then when I get home, I just download it from my Adobe Cloud to my machine, to my computer, print, and I'm good to go. So what does it do? It makes it look like, oh, you've already downloaded the documents. So you're not getting pinged about when you're going to download, when you're going to download. I already downloaded, I uploaded it to the cloud, deleted it off my phone once I didn't need it anymore, get home. And actually, you don't even have to download it from Adobe Cloud. You just print from the cloud because you click on it to open up in Adobe on your computer. And then I was able to print. I already reviewed everything. And that's how I got good at just being able to print and go and not actually sitting here tagging everything every single time. It was like, if I'm at work, okay, let me download and review. My manager sitting there. I got my phone propped up. And you know how we do. We put our hand like we on the mouse and then yeah, I'm moving the mouse. No, I'm sure. Okay. And then let's just be real. If you got Adobe, you got the full version, and you have Adobe Acrobat on your office computer, you can log out of Adobe Acrobat on your office computer and then log into your office computer, Adobe Acrobat, and pull up your account. And now you can look at it like, oh, okay. Yeah, boss, I see that. Yeah, I'm on PowerPoint 15. Yeah, and I always had 2 or 3 monitors on my desk. So one of the monitors was, oh, my signing stuff. So I was keeping track of that over here on one monitor. See, I didn't need 3 monitors. I only needed 2. But that third one, okay, order coming through. And that's how I used to get stuff on Signature Closers and CX Choice, because some of them, if you in there in the I'll be logged in, okay, boom, and I was getting my order. So those were things that I did, and I had to find ways to be more efficient so that I could get ahead of the people who were out there full time. That's what I had to do, and it was a sacrifice. That meant I couldn't be sitting on, and see, that's why I didn't get caught up, because I wasn't looking at YouTube all day of notaries. I was sitting there trying to figure out how to be more efficient, how to streamline, how to get stuff done quicker, faster. And then I was sitting there working on my profile. Okay, yeah, I'm the best notary. I said, oh, I know Hampton Roads #1 nighttime notary. Since that's what they're looking for, that tells them what? Oh, we got a guy that he can do stuff at nighttime. So I'm telling them, hey, I do stuff at nighttime. But that turned into something positive, because then they said, well, we see in your profile, again, they look at the profile, that you say you do stuff mainly at night. Do you do things in the daytime? I said, well, yes, I can, but I need a little bit more leeway because I work a regular job. Okay, so how much leeway? I said, honestly, if you can give me about a week, oh, that might be tough. I said, I know, but I don't want to promise you something and then I can't because of my work schedule. So if if it's in the middle of the week and you got something for next Tuesday or Wednesday, I can work that out. A month goes by, the next thing I know, that same company, hey, we got something next Tuesday. Oh, okay, yeah, no problem. Drop me a leave chit, and okay, I'm taking time off. Leave chit, that's an old Navy term. I put in my request for PTO. That's the correct civilian term. I put in my request for PTO, and they're like, okay. And then it got to a point where I realized my company was like, well, if you need to leave to go take care of something so you can save your vacation time, that's good. Just make sure you get your 8 hours in today so you can come back, because the building stays open till 10 at night. So again, I coordinate with my wife. Hey, babe, I'm gonna get, okay, boom, boom, boom. I'll be at the job and I go back there. So I go leave for a couple of hours to do my closing, come back, and then I would sit there at work and finish up my work for the day. So yeah, I got there at 7 in the morning, and yeah, I'm leaving at 8, 9 at night. But I also just made $200 for doing some closings. So this is the kind of stuff that you have to be willing to do. And if you are or in a position to do that, man, before you know it, you'll have 100 signings under your belt. But if you're going to constantly sit back complaining about what you feel you're not getting, you feel that you deserve more of this, deserve more of that. I'm like, if you really feel that strongly, put that energy in your W-2 that pretty much can pay you a heck of a lot more than what we're doing with this, and give them that daggone business about not work, giving you the value and the worth that you have and stuff. So, I mean, and that's what I've done, and it was hard, but it's paid off. I ain't gonna lie, it has paid off, and this has been my most successful business venture that I've ever done, because of the sacrifice that I was willing to make.
I mean, that's key, Griff. I mean, the sacrifice piece, I think that people need to understand that it's going to take a sacrifice for you to be successful at anything. And so if you're not willing to make that sacrifice, you don't expect to get the results that like others have obtained, because you won't get there. It's not just by sheer luck that you're as successful as you are. It's like not just you, but obviously Mrs. Griffin as well. She's successful. Your whole family. That's how you guys are. That's how you guys operate. And I think that all of us need to learn in that particular type of situation where, yes, things are difficult at times. I'm not obviously in the same position as you, but with my stuff was the same thing when I first started. I was like, oh, we were home. It was it was very different when during the pandemic, obviously towards the tail end, when I started in 2021, where I was getting this orders because we were at home. I didn't have a lot of work to do at home. Mm-hmm. So I was just taking it, but that helped me out versus me sitting around, let me wait for this to come, or let me just, I'm shy, I don't want to make a mistake. So that led me into the more experience. And then people see me, they're like, oh, you've done orders for us. So like, because you've done orders for us, we're going to like look for you as like, hey, are you available? So it just kept going through 2022 and obviously 2023 now. And I want to continue making this more than what it is. I want it to be more. Yes, I love where I've gotten to, but I know there's going to be more sacrifices, like all these other things that the detractors and stuff like that. I don't need that kind of stuff. I don't need that to be what's going to hold me back, because sitting there listening to all these people, you're not making any money. Scared money doesn't make money. It's the reality. And so just for me, I want to continue, like maybe one day, I mean, I'll become like a full-time, notary, depending on the situation. I think that one of the things I remember you talking about was like, you talked about today about the part-time piece, but then when you realize that, hey, I can do this, I can get out of the W-2, that's where you struck gold. You're like, oh, now I'm going to go out there and I got to go out and trust that my abilities and my sacrifices and the faith that I have in my abilities, it's going to get me there. And that's what it's done. So I think if I get to that particular point, I would do the same thing, where I feel that it's going to basically replace all the stuff that I do now, or my salary now. If I were to be able to do that and with utter confidence and feel that I could do it, then of course I would go out there and do it. The other thing too, I don't want to say it like this because then I'll probably be jinxing myself, but I've always thought, like, if it came down to it, where I got laid off, Griff, honestly, I'm telling you this, like, I would never go back to a W-2. I'd be like, this is done. You know what? I'm going to make it work, because there's no reason for it. And yeah, I'm in it now because I've been in it, but if I would have discovered this years ago, you can't go back, I would have been doing this. This is an enjoyment. This is fun. When you go out and go and meet people, you learn things that you didn't know. And it's not there just to have conversations. Obviously, you got a job to do, but it doesn't need to be where you walk in there, you put your head down, and you just stamp like it's a what is it? Not construction line, the
assembly line.
Assembly line. That's not what it is either. And so, but it's good to meet people, and you're, like I said before, you're doing a service. You're a public servant. And so you're doing that, but at the flip side, you learn about other things that will like work in your world outside of just that particular appointment. So I think that from all of us, we all need to just be out there and really like take it in, do our best, but then like enjoy it. And maybe one day then people can get like you, and doing what you're doing. Because you didn't just you think about it, you started out part-time to remove some stuff, which you did. Then you saw that it was a viable option for you to become full-time, which you did. Right. Then you jumped into the YouTube, and you're like, wait, I know what I'm doing. And that's something of value that I think that I can share with others. And you've done it, because I think that the whole thing is that, and I know I've mentioned it before, is that there's a lot of people saying like just junk. It's just a lot of people on the internet in general, just saying junk. And a person like you share, and you're doing it out of the kindness of your heart, to be honest, because you could be like charging a whole lot of this information to say, hey, I am going to hoard this information until you pay me. And yes, you can get paid like money, but you're not doing it for that particular reason. I think that's the type of people that we need to be. But now I'm sure there'll be some other ventures tied to this later on that you'll decide when you're ready, and I think that once that happens, you'll be successful at that. But I think that you've shown that you can make this and you can do well, but it takes each person to understand that they're capable of it. And they have to have the belief in themselves. And that's what you did. And not just the belief in yourself, your family had the belief in you as well. That's why you're here right now. And that's why you're successful.
Yeah. And I don't know. You ever remember these cookies?
Vienna fingers. Well, I
Yeah.
know I'm Keebler. I don't know if I had the Vienna fingers before
Oh
though.
man, I grew up on these, and we have a Publix, which is a south. Man, I went over there today. I saw these. I was like, I ain't seen these since I was a kid. I bought 2 bags of them. I bought 2 of them. I was like, oh man. So I was trying to find some fritters, and then I was like, I saw these. I like, man, bump them fritters. I'm getting me some of these little Vina fingers. I like, shoot, I like these. But here's the big question for everybody. And I know a lot of people hopping off, but the people who see this on the replay, and I meant to say this earlier, I forgot. Out of all the complaining that people are doing about the business, the biggest question that I have is this: how do we fix it? Whatever you're complaining about, how do we get the people who you feel that's doing the notaries wrong or you wrong? How do you get them to change it? That's the question. So when I hear people talk about they don't like doing certain closings because this many pages or not enough pay and all of that, I get it and I respect that you feel that way. But the question is, feeling that way doesn't change the fact that you're not getting paid. It's the action that you take from once you feel you're like, okay, I feel this way. Okay, so now what's the plan? How do you make it better? And trying to get a bunch of people rah-rahing behind you isn't always the smartest plan, because those people could be the ones to sabotage the plan. And my thing is just be selfish and get it for yourself. Don't worry about trying to get it for everybody. Just go get it for yourself, because this is about us being individual business owners. And I just find it so amazing that in a W-2, everybody don't worry about what other people raises are. But as a notary, everybody keeps worrying about, well, how much you getting? How much you getting? Oh, we need to all be getting. No, 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 no. That tells me there's a deficiency in you, whereas you don't have the ability or the confidence that you can command the dollar amount that you want, or you've overspent. If you are getting a dollar amount you want, you've overspent, or you weren't wise with your money, and now that they reduce the fee, you're scared that you're not going to be able to survive because you're living at $150 per signing lifestyle, and now the fee done dropped to 95. That's what I believe is happening with a lot of people. Um, that's what I believe is happening with a lot of people, is that, you know, they have the wrong idea, the wrong vision, the wrong perspective. And I always keep asking the question, and not too many people have ever answered me correctly on this, or not, I won't say correctly, answer me at all. I said, what did you expect this business to be? That's the question, because, well, I don't like this and I don't like that. I got it. But what did you expect it to be? What do you feel that it should be, and why it should be that way? And then now let's come up with a plan to get it that way. And if you ask somebody that, I'm telling you, majority of the time, they don't have a clue. And if they do give you an answer, it's going to be centered probably around how much they spent to get in here, or somebody told them something and they just believed them and they didn't vet it. And now they're realizing that that person wasn't upfront with them or didn't give them all of the particulars. So now they're scrambling to save face because they done brag to their family, brag to their spouse, brag to their kids, even told their dog, we about to get rich and I'm gonna buy you a gold chain and get you some gold, a gold grill to go on your canines. And then you realize, oh, I ain't doing no seven. I mean, people have called me and told me, Griff, I'm just telling you now, I ain't doing no 70 signings a month. I ain't doing that. That's too much. They need to pay me about 200-300 a pop, and I'm good. I'll do 20 or 30, and I'm good. So I'm learning that people want to do about 15 to 20 signings per month. you know, well, that 15 times 300, that's 4,500. And some of them are like, okay, I'm good with that. And I'm like, all right, cool. You good with that? And okay, that's cool. But the thing is, can you find 15 orders at $300? If you can, cool. But if you can't, then what are you going to do? And they're like, well, I'm going to just go do something else. Okay. Then what is the something else you're going to do that's going to pay you $300 a pop 15 times? And there's no answer for that. You can't even get a part-time job to do that. So I think we have a great opportunity going forward in 2024 to really make the notary business be what it needs to be for you as an individual. But you're going to have to decide who you listen to, why you're listening to. You're going to have to question them. You can't get caught up in the hype. You're probably going to have to avoid certain conferences, or not even certain, but just avoid going to them, because if you can't afford it, you don't need to go. All these notary meetups, you're probably going to have to pull back from them, because I think a lot of people are spending the majority of their time and money on things that's not making them money. And going to a notary conference all the time, every single one, to network, you're networking with people who are trying to get the same piece of grass that you're trying to get to feed your family. So when we get together, it's like, okay, well, me and Caprinas, okay, what business do I have to give to him? What business does he have to give to me? Actually, right now, none. All we have is encouragement to each other. But, it's like, well, Griff, I don't have any signing companies I can hook you up with, and I don't have any to hook you up with. So just imagine doing that 15, 20 times in a year, going to events where you're with somebody and nobody there can do anything for you. And then they say, well, we got the title company here. Okay, you meet the title company person, but that's the owner, and that's not the person who's scheduling you. And you can't rely on the title company owner to remember you, along with the other 30 or 40 notaries they met, to tell Susie, the scheduler, pick apprentice. You just got to take the order and wow Susie and do such a great job that Susie brags to you, to the owner, and say, yeah, Caprinas is a rock star, this, that, and the other. And then the owner now knows you. So now the next notary meetup you go to, you don't want to be the notary that the owner said, oh yeah, you that one that be keep asking for extra money. Yeah. You already told Susie not to pick you no more. So, and they're just standing there smiling your face. Oh yeah, really good. Yeah, Susie. Yeah, I just saw that Caprinas. Yeah, just make sure he is triple blacklisted, red listed, and everything else listed. Okay. We don't even want an order going to his phone. So you got to make up your mind. Are you going to do this business or not? What's holding you back? And decide what level of sacrifice you're willing to make to be where you want to be. Set some goals. Stop worrying about what you're getting per signing. Set a goal of what you're going to make each month, and work toward it. And let me say this. What I would like to know is, for those of you who are listening to people who talk about all of this stuff on how you can get all this money and this, that, and the other, how many are actually getting that money? Well, this is how I get paid. I just demand that you're going to pay me. Okay, so whoever he or she is, I haven't seen any evidence of notary saying, Griff, that person who told me that this is how I need to get it worked, and I'm making all this money. I've yet to hear anybody come back and say that I listened to so-and-so notary channel and they said this is what we need to do to make money, and I did it, and guess what? It's working. I haven't seen anybody come back and tell me that. Not one person. So the stuff must not be working. Any final thoughts, man?
Yeah, I was just thinking about black glove service versus against white glove service. So when they don't want to use me anymore, you're going to be the black glove service at that point.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. So party people, look, a couple of days gonna be 2024. You got to make up your mind. You're gonna barbecue a mildew. You're gonna poop or get off the pot. This is a decision that you got to make, not your notary trainer, not your mentor. This is a decision you got to make as to what you're going to do in this business and how you're going to do it. And there's help out here for you. You know, I'll help you. And there are others who are legitimate out here that'll help you. But it starts with you making a decision as to what you're going to do. Thank you, Leo. Thank you very much. It's going, you said, just signed as a channel member. Appreciate that. Got my first sign of the day. You know, to your point, it was a last minute deal. Bingo. I mean, oh man, I wish I would been maybe this year for the month of January, February. I'll try to keep track of how many last minute signings did I get. I think that I'm gonna try to do. I'm gonna try to make sure I do a note to keep track of that, so people can see. You know, even if it gets canceled, I'm gonna try to keep track of that. You know, or you know what's really be interesting is not just the ones that I get, but even if I can't do them and it's the last minute, I think I'm gonna have to find a way to keep track. Even if I get a notification for like ASAP, this, that, and the other, so you can see how many comes through per month. Because a lot of them come through and I can't do them because I'm already booked. But if I wasn't booked, them last minute alone will keep me busy and stuff. And thank you very much, Miss Janice. Yep, some old school snacks. Bad boy's good. I need some ice cream now. But thanks again, everybody. I greatly appreciate it. Thanks for hopping on, Caprinis. If y'all out there in California, look him up. And now he's not a notary trainer or mentor, whatever. He'll help you out to the best of his ability as he has time to. But yeah, he's a solid guy and he knows what he's doing out there. So y'all have a good one. Talk to y'all later. Peace.